Could it be? It is!
That's the face of somebody who wants to be a champion.
Another World Championship qualifier for Shelley Jenica.
Caldwell goes up to her. Oh, won't relinquish. It's going to be one of the greats.
Hello everyone, we're in the Harbour City for the Chemist Warehouse Sydney Track Classic. ES Mars is the venue. That long ago, Tamsin, 30 years. Even I was competing when we were here. It's like retro round for the Chemist Warehouse Summer Series. Big night tonight. We've got 2 national championships. They're the highlight of the program.
We do. We have 2 3,000 metre titles on the line, and we have such good lineups for both of those races. In the women's race, we have Jess Hull, who is fresh off that 4th place finish at the World Indoors. She's just running so well. But we also have Izzy Bat-Doyle, Rose Davies, Lyndon Hall, Sarah Billings, Georgia Griffith. It's a cast of thousands, and the men's race is going to be a bit tighter as well, because I think Matt Ramsden has a great time on the board, but Cameron Myers, the youngster, the superstar that has got the global athletics world speaking, he is in the field. And Jude Thomas, of course, he's won 2 in a row, so can he do a 3rd time?
Those 2 events are the highlight. The relays will be interesting because tickets to the Bahamas for the World Relay Championships absolutely up for grabs.
They are. The 4x100 metre stocks are so strong at the moment. Our sprinters are absolutely flying, and they will want to get their seats on that plane to the Bahamas for the World Relays, and tonight's a really important step to getting that done. Lots
of other action on the track. In the field, Eleanor Patterson, our high jumper, the world champion from Oregon in 2022, will be the highlight. So that's some of what we've got to look forward to. Our man trackside is Nathan Breen. Pretty good conditions, Breeny.
Yeah, the conditions are quite good here. It's been a little bit inconsistent with the wind, but good conditions overall. The atmosphere is starting to build. ES Marks, we haven't been here since 1994, so a bit of historical significance to this venue, and we know the golden era that took place when ES Marks was the main venue for athletics in New South Wales, and now we're back here with another golden era of Australian athletics. We're looking forward to a great night of competition. The Australian 3,000 metre championships as well. Our 4x100 relays. There's so much to look forward to on an action-packed night of competition.
Thank you, Nathan. Looking forward to your work down trackside. Here's the timetable of events. We're going to kick off with the 2 hurdles. All of these races really tight. We're expecting some good things in the relays. The women's 400 will be really interesting. Eleanor Patterson in the high jump. Men's 400, Luke Van Rattingen, the national champion on his home soil here in New South Wales. National championships in the 3,000 for men and women. Men's and women's long jump also. Men's is currently just underway in those 800s as well, and the 100. So a lot to look forward to, Tamsin. We're going to kick off with the men's 110 metre hurdles. Here is our start list for the opening event on the track. Please welcome in lane 2, representing Japan, World Championship representative Tatsuki Abe. In lane 3, the Australian champion from New South Wales, Mitch Lightfoot. In lane 4, 26-year-old from New South Wales, World Championship representative Jacob McCrory. In lane 5, World Under-20 Championship finalist, winner of the Murray Plant Meet in Melbourne from Victoria, Caleb Willis. In lane 6, the World University Games champion from Japan, personal best of 13.29, Ken Toyoda. In lane 7, fastest man in Australia this year at 13.63, the Queenslander, Sam Herwood. And in lane 8, World Championship representative and World Indoor finalist from Victoria, Chris Douglas. Line-up for the first event here at the Chemist Warehouse Sydney Track Classic, the men's 110 metre hurdles.
What a fantastic race to start off this meet with, because Mitch Lightfoot and Taylor Willis, fantastic juniors, both made the World Under-20 final. And then you throw in Jacob McCrory and Chris Douglas coming back from the United States, and Sam Herwood, who's having a great competition, and Ken Toyoda, what a great athlete, winning that World University Championships last year. So it's a quality field. It's going to be a great race to start this program.
So Herwood false started in Canberra, had to walk off the track. The Japanese athletes in 2 and 6, and then the Australians Lightfoot, McCrory and Willis. It's probably where the action is going to be here. Men's high hurdles. Kyle Vanderkype holds the track record, 13.83, back in 1993. Just about set. away. Lightfoot got a pretty good start, so did McGrory, but Willis has beaten them all out. On the inside, Abe and her Toyota going pretty well. In fact, it's the Japanese runner Toyota that starts. Oh, he hit the track. He's fallen down. Abe takes over, and Douglas on the outside. It's all happening. On the inside, Abe has got the win. Douglas was flashing home, and Toyota, well, he had a mechanical.
Wow, there was a lot going on in that race to talk through after it. I mean, poor Ken Toyota. What I do like is that he hit that hurdle so hard. I think it was about the 6th hurdle, and then fell to the track, but got back up, and he has finished the race off, which is good to see him uninjured. But his fellow countryman Abe from the inside lane has taken that race, and he'll be very happy to win that. But I thought Taylor Willis got out of the blocks with an electric start, and Chris Douglas, coming back from the United States, you know, he's not won it, but he's made the final of a World Indoors before in 2022. So there's Chris Douglas in the light blue singlet on the outside. But here is where Toyota hit that hurdle, and he stacked on the 7th hurdle, but got back up. So luckily he's not injured. But Jacob McCrory will be happy with that run. They actually, Jacob and Mitch Lightfoot, before the race, did a race simulation to practice what's going to happen in nationals between the heat and then the final, because that national championships, as you can see there with Willis, Douglas, Herwood, McGrory, Lightfoot, they're so close together, and they want to get that place, you know, that first position to give them the bragging rights to make that Paris Olympic team. They're going to want to practice how they go at those national championships. So it's a rust buster a little bit today. It was a messy race by a lot of the athletes, and they'll learn a lot from that moving forward. From
that initial angle, it looked like Willis got 4th, but it was so tight that he was up into 2nd. So Abe 13.79 ahead of Willis 13.91, Douglas 13.92, McCrory 13.93, and then Herwood and Lightfoot, the wind 0.0. So that is good news, because it's been fluctuating around a bit. But wow, if that's what we've got in store, Tams, and we're in for an absolute cracker of an afternoon evening, because that was tight here at ES Marks Field. It's sort of old school venue. Sydney Olympic Park, the usual venue for these events since 1995, but taken up today with the Little Athletics National Championships. In fact, on this day, according to our great statsman David Tarbotton, in 1980, 23rd of March, the Australian Championships were here, and 2 Australian records were set. The 400 with Rick Mitchell, and the 200 metres in women's with Denise Robertson-Boyd. So there's history all around. Men's long jump is underway. There's the start list. Darcy Roper not starting. Liam Adcock just keeping his powder dry ahead of the National Championships. Chris Matreski winning the competition at the Maury Plant Meet. But all of these jumpers, wind a bit tricky. Matreski currently leading 3rd round 8 metres. So he's found a tailwind, Chris, which is good news, and has launched himself out to 8 metres. Zane Branco's in 2nd, 7.59, and Chi Sin Lin of Chinese Taipei, 7.56 are the top 3. And I can also tell you, Tamsin, that Yuval Reith won the men's high jump, just finished. Well, they went a bit quick. We would have liked them to still be jumping, but they got through their business pretty quickly, and Yuval, with a 2.27 clearance, got the win over Joel Baden.
He's having a great season, Yuval, isn't he? 2.27. He's becoming consistent in those high 2.20s, which is exciting. And you can see the 110 metre hurdles results.
So they have changed the positions of Douglas and Willis from that initial time. So a developed print of 13.91 to 13.92. But
look how close those times are. So Nationals is going to be, the Olympic trials are going to be a fantastic race in those men 110 metre hurdles. Quality athletes in that field, and the women's hurdles, which comes up next, also has some depth in it as well.
Jalen Rucker's on the runway in the long jump. 3 fouls so far. Silver medalist at the Nationals last year. 8.02 lifetime best. Now coached by Mike Barber. And that's another foul. So the run-up needs to go back a little bit. Of course, the Queensland jumpers formerly coached by Gary Bourne, who sadly passed away, and so athletes have gone to various coaches, some with Alex Stewart. Mike Barber, of course, husband of Kelsey Lee, coaching our long jumpers as well. Next event on the track, second one, is the women's 100 hurdles.
Well, look at that lineup. It's an incredible lineup, isn't it? It's great to see Michelle Jenica fresh off those World Indoors where I thought she ran really well. What did you think, Dave? I think she's that semi-finalist. She looked like she'd got that speed back, that zip, which she relies on in those first 60 metres. She's a great technician and a quality athlete. Look at that personal best of Michelle Jenica. Everyone knows her as the viral sensation when she did that dancing hurdle move before the 2012 World Under-20s. But she's a quality athlete, and I think sometimes that gets lost a little bit with Michelle, but 12.66, and it's been great to see Liz Clay coming back and running so well on the athletics track. She looks so disappointed, and that's what I love about Liz. She's so competitive. She wants so much out of every single performance, but honestly, as a fan, it's just lovely to see Liz back out there racing after that horrible incident in Eugene, Oregon, at the World Championships where she broke her foot midway down the track.
Ran a B100 earlier as well, so she's doing a little bit of nationals simulation. Semi-finals and finals of this event will occur on the same day. Season's best here. Liz ran 12.93 at the Queensland Championships. Danielle Shaw from Canberra, 13.01. And Michelle Jenica would like to improve on her 13.06, which was from the New South Wales Championships last week.
Well, Danielle Shaw's one to watch as well, the 25-year-old from Victoria. She's got a 13.01 personal best from earlier on this year, and she'll be looking to break that 13-second barrier. She's come into 2024 with a 13.44 personal best, but she showed glimpses last year before she hurt her hamstring that she has fantastic flat speed, and she's got that speed back again this year. She's running very fast, and she's converting it now to the hurdle race.
Taylor Willis getting busy with the autographs on the infield. Fan zone. No long throws here, so we've got the opportunity to have fans in the middle of the field, which is good news for them. And they'll have a great experience here tonight. I'm just about ready to introduce the field here. Of course, Celeste Mucci, as we go back to the long jump. Liam Fairweather, 7.40 so far. Celeste, of course, ran fast in Canberra, 13.03, and then injured her hamstring, had to have surgery, and has seen some work of her in the gym, and she's getting back to fitness, but not full fitness. She won't be back by the end of the Australian season, so disappointing for her, of course, in an Olympic year.
Brutal event, the hurdles, and Taylor Willis, who's just finished running his race, the 21-year-old. You know, a lot of the athletes in that men's high hurdles haven't come through just doing hurdles and little athletics. Taylor was one of those ones. He was a sporty kid, karate, ballet, gymnastics. Mitch Lightfoot, who he's had great battles with through the junior stages. He was actually part of the Sydney Swans Academy, so a great footballer as well. And you see that a lot in the global stage too with high hurdlers, that they're often very good at other sports. A lot of the Americans play NFL.
So just about ready. The hurdles been recalcitrant, I think would be the word. They haven't quite been playing the right games, as Lin for Chinese Taipei with his 7.56 best jump so far. There's the standings in that long jump. Of course, we're here for Chemist Warehouse, the Summer Series. This is the final event. We started in Adelaide. We went to Melbourne with the Maurie Plant meet, up to Canberra for the Canberra Track Classic, and now here before we head to Adelaide for the National Championships and Olympic Trials. Chemist Warehouse, Australia's largest pharmacy retailer with over 8,000 staff. Fantastic supporter of athletics in Australia, and of course they are the major sponsor of the Australian teams when they compete on the international stage. So I think we're just about ready for the introduction of the field of the women's hurdles. So ladies and gentlemen, here is the field for the women's 100 metre hurdles. In lane 2, from New South Wales, twice the World University Games finalist, Abby Tadeo. In lane 3, Commonwealth Youth Games champion from New South Wales, Dolta Amadzowski. In lane 4, Olympic semi-finalist, winner in Melbourne and Canberra from Queensland, Liz Clay. In lane 5, World Indoor semi-finalist last weekend, she won her 10th New South Wales title. Please welcome Michelle Jenica. In lane 6, World Junior Championship semi-finalist from Victoria, Danielle Shaw. In lane 7, World Championship representative from Queensland, Hannah Jones. And in lane 8, the New Zealand champion, Brianna Stevenson. That's the field, women's 100 hurdles. Meet record here, Sally Pearson 12.66, but the track record, Penny Gillies 13.10 from the 1980 Australian Championships, and saw Penny on the way in. Still coaching a lot of athletes. What do you think, Tamsin?
I'm just so fascinated by this race. I think it's going to be one of those really tight ones like we just saw. Michelle Denneker, Liz Clay, they both have good arguments as to why they should be the favourites for this race. But we haven't even mentioned Hannah Jones, coached by Sally Pearson, but she was bronze at the Australian Championships last year. It's going to be a great race.
She's in lane 7, Clay in 4, Jenneker in 5. Away they go. Clay got a pretty good start. Jenneker alongside her. Shaw running pretty well as well. But as they come down in the middle, it's Clay and Jenneker. The battle between the two, not much in this. Jenneker's just in front. Clay striking back, hit the line. Boy, it's close. I think Jenneker maybe. We're just a little bit in front of the line here with about 10 metres to go. They went over the last barrier. They were exactly locked together. That was a great race. It's what we came for, and it's what they delivered.
And it's what you need as an Australian when you're away from the rest of the world. You need these tight battles so that you can practice, especially in those hurdles where it can get messy, learning to run relaxed and staying focused on your own race through it. You can see here, Liz Clay got a really good start. You expected Jenneker to be up on Liz Clay here, but it looked like Liz got away from her in the middle, but Jenneker was really great over those last hurdles. Oh, that's tight.
Well, our camera's a little bit in front of the line here too, so we're waiting for the photo finish here. It's tight. Well, there's the unofficial so far. It's got Clay ahead of Jenneker in the same time of 12.97. I think I'm going to wait for the official result after what we saw in the men's, where we had a swap of positions.
It looked like Liz just came off that last hurdle with that forward lean, really switched on and just looked like she did get it just by a little bit. But we are back from the line, so it's hard to tell. But what a great race by both athletes. They certainly delivered an entertaining 100-metre hurdle race for us.
So it's up to 12.90 or down to 12.96, which would...
Oh, look how close it is.
First time under 13 seconds for Jenneker this season. We got an official? I think we're still unofficial.
At the moment, they're saying that it's so close. You're having to go to the thousandths to split them, which once you start looking at the thousandths...
Well, what we can tell you is that they both run 12.97 potentially, or 12.96. Not sure.
Can you tell
Our
us
monitor
anything?
here says 12.97. We saw 12.96 on the screen. I think Jenneker, from my angle, although we're 10 metres in front of the line, was diving for the line, but was Clay there? Not sure. Let's go down to Nathan, who's with Liz Clay. Not sure that she's the winner just yet, Nathan, but it was a great run.
We're probably 80% sure at the moment. Liz Clay, the battle we all thought in the centre of the track, Michelle Jenneker, you know each other well. She won her 10th New South Wales Open title. You did your fastest time for 2 years since you broke your foot last weekend. Talk us through that race, sub 13.
Yeah, last weekend gave me so much confidence. First time breaking 13 since I did my foot, so that was great. And then today I just wanted to build on that, execute some things that I didn't do so well last weekend, so did both of those.
And resilience, talk to us, because there's a lot of young athletes here who have got a long road ahead of them. Talk us through how you got yourself through that tough period.
I think I just knew that it would eventually end and I'd eventually be back here doing what I love, as long as I worked really hard. So I just took each week and each month as they came, and yeah, I'm back and it feels so nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, Liz Clay, put your hands together. A couple of thousandths of a second in it. Still unofficial, but we're pretty sure she got the win.
I think we're going to go with official now, according to my screen, but 12.97 apiece. And when you look to, it was 3 1,000ths of a second was the difference.
And on what she just said then is wonderful. She said that, you know, she always knew she'd get through the other end, but that's not the case. A lot of people would go through what Liz Clay has been through and would struggle to come out the other end. She is so super strong. You could see with the disappointment on her face with the time in Canberra when she had the win. She puts high expectations on herself, and, you know, she's broken 13 seconds now twice this season, so she's heading in the right direction, and we look to see, hopefully, quite a few athletes in that team. If we can get 3 on that Olympic team, that would be fantastic. But Liz Clay and Michelle Jenica are tracking along really nicely at this stage of the year.
So it's a good run from Shelley as well, because she's gone under 13 seconds for the first time this season with that 12.97 and or 12.96.4 and 12.96.7 rounded up to 12.97.
Well, we said it was going to be close, didn't we?
Well, if you need to be a mathematician to work out all of that, but
Thousandths, down to the thousandths of a second. As soon as you do that, it's a very, very close race. Hard for the photo finish judges, but quality athletes. Liz Clay just missed that final in Tokyo Olympics, and Shelley Jenica is totally capable of making an Olympic final as well. And we have such great history in that event, so they will continue that history, I'm sure, leading into Paris.
it was an exciting race. Both the hurdles so far. The men's full of drama with the fall of Toyota, the win of Abe, and then that very tight finish. Good racing. It's what we've come to look forward to here tonight, because the start lists are showing a lot of tight racing. Mason McCroda was a late entry here in the long jump. He's had some trouble with the run up today as well. Currently sitting in 5th spot with his 740. A couple of relay events coming up, Tamsin, which normally the relays at these events are a little bit hastily put together, but this is a bit of a feature tonight because Tori Lewis just running the relay. We've got two very strong men's and women's teams, an A and a B, and particularly in the men's, not necessarily, you know, an A team and a B team, or team 1 and team 2, as they try and work out what they're going to do in terms of the World Relay Championships in the Bahamas in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, these teams that we've put on paper are so strong, you know, so I think these athletes will be looking every time they hit this track to try and get as close as they can to the national record, because there's so much quality in the women's sprinting at the moment that you have to be running so fast to even make the team. So I think having that depth in the A and B team that's on paper here for this 4x100 says that, you know, and I'm looking through these teams, Dave, and I actually think it could be quite close, because Mia Gross had a fantastic race in Sydney at the state championships over 200 metres and ran a personal best, and she's in great shape. Christy Edwards is in that B team as well, and Sam Geddes is great out of the blocks. Now the A team has Ebony Lane, who has been having a fantastic season. Her first 60 metres is very, very impressive, so it's no surprise that they've put her out of the blocks there in lane 3 for Australia A. I saw Brie Masters warming up. She has that wonderful high knee lift and is so great off the ground. Her foot strike is brilliant, and she looked fantastic in warm-up, so she'll be great down the back straight. Nella Connolly is still rounding into top form, but a quality athlete, the triple threat athlete who can run 100, 200 and 400 metres at a world-class level. And we've got the national record holder coming home in that team, which I think makes the biggest difference between the two A and B teams.
There's the final leg runners. Tori Lewis just going down onto her haunches, the 3-point start. Nara Nang on her outside.
National champion as well, and she's in the B team. Nara Nang was so fantastic last year. She ran her personal best at that Maury Plant meet and then just hurt herself. So such good athletes, and if they can be around their personal best time, we actually have 8 athletes that are fighting for these 4 positions, and even a couple more that aren't in these A and B race teams. So it's brilliant. It's so exciting for Australian sprinting. So
the Australian women's team pretty secure inside the qualification for the World Relays, and the 16 teams selected for Paris, 14 of them come from that event. So really important to get there and then perform pretty well.
I think the best thing about this field being together, the A and B team, there's bragging rights on the line, but this is that top-end quality practice with getting that baton around that you need with that pressure.
On the track for the women's 4x100 metres. In lane 2, it's a combined team of Australia and New Zealand. In fact, we're going to start on the outside. From New South Wales, we've got the team of Bronte Pickering, Gabrielle Taylor, Olivia Inkster and Jess Lawrence, New South Wales. In lane 6, it's the New Zealand team. Talia Van Rooyen, Marielle Venita, Kendra Scully-Tuai and Amelia Goldsmith. In lane 5, it's the Australian under-20 team. Chelsea Scollier, Zara Hagan, Olivia Dodds and Jessica Malat. In lane 4, it's the Australian B team, to be led off by Samantha Geddes, then Christy Edwards, Mia Gross and Na Anang. In lane 3, it's the Australian A team, led off by Ebony Lane, then Bree Masters, Ella Connolly and the Australian record holder, Tori Lewis. And on the inside, the combined team of Australia and New Zealand. That's the start list. Women's 4x1. So the ones really to keep an eye on here are lane 3 and 4. So you can see the Australian-New Zealand combined team on the inside going from 2, but it's Ebony Lane and Samantha Geddes, who's been in good form. She won the New South Wales Championships, Sam Geddes. And Ebony Lane been in super form as well, personal best recently. They'll hand off to Masters and Edwards. So away they go, and the Australian A team got a good start on the inside. Ebony Lane has gone really quickly up towards Sam Geddes as they come to the first changeover. How is it? It's pretty good. Bree Masters gets the bat and just dwelt a fraction. Christy Edwards on her outside, but Masters is going really well down the back straight.
Masters is running fantastic. It goes to show how important those changes are, because Ebony's change to Masters was brilliant. She's given the baton away now to Ella Connolly, who's using that beautiful long stride to get that baton around.
Mia Gross charging at her though, coming to the final change. Connolly to Lewis, gets the baton pretty quickly. Nara Nang is there. That was swift. It's a fast change. Lewis stretches away the Australian record holder, the Australian champion, down to the line, and that's swift. Good run. Lewis ahead of Anang, Australia A v Australia B, and the time of 42.90. 42.90.
It's fast.
42.90, 42.94. Stand by.
Stand by for sure, because it is fast.
I'm just going to double check. 42.90.
We can see here, Na Nang had a great run in second too. She's running beautifully, which is nice to see after we spoke about how she ran that 11:20 in February early last year. She's coming back into that great form. Tori Lewis got that baton and was well away. They're so happy. We're just waiting for confirmation.
Can I have a confirmation, please, that time is correct?
It looks like it is. I think you can say it, Dave.
That is an Australian record.
What a beautiful leg. You can see them waiting for Bree Masters, who has her hands in the air and she is screaming with delight because she ran a fantastic back straight leg, did Bree Masters in that second position. Tori Lewis, we've got Ella Connolly who ran third, and a wonderful start leg by Ebony Lane, who has run further than she probably likes. She's run the whole track. She gave the baton off and she's run the whole 400 metres to join the other trio of athletes. They're national record holders. Tori Lewis is now a dual national record holder.
Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're here at ES Marks or at home, because that is the fastest ever run by an Australian team. Rachel Massey, Sue Broderick, Jodie Lambert and Melinda Gainsford Taylor in South Africa in 2000, March 2000, in fact the 18th of March, so just a fraction over 24 years since that record was set. And in second place, Australia B at 43.45. They've run a great time as well.
That'll put them up there in the top list as well. Let's see where they would end up. They'll be in the top 10 easily. So fantastic race to witness. The Australian women are running so well.
Well, what a run it was. Perfect, really. Ebony Lane, the great change over to Bree Masters. Ella Connolly was pushed by Mia Gross, and then Tori Lewis, that last change was just superb. Nathan, Australian record, that one's been in the books for some time, 24 plus years, and these four, well, they are the ones. It's exciting.
Certainly is exciting, Dave, and if you had a look at the footage of them training here and going through, they look slick. 9/100ths of a second, a new Australian record. Ella, talk us through what it's like. Normally you're against these girls and trying to gel with them, all of a sudden you're best friends.
Yeah, I think we're all friends offside of the track, so it makes coming together to relay is quite easy. Super proud of the girls, and yeah, looking forward to what's to come.
And Bree, you've been very competitive and all around this summer. You've got a couple of seconds and thirds, but 15th at the moment. It's pretty exciting, World Relays. You can back yourself for a strong chance there.
Yeah, for sure. Like that time just solidifies how well our female team is going. This record is just as much ours as it is the other girls who've been working really hard behind the scenes. You know, the B team is firing as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Bahamas.
And Tori, anchoring home, and obviously you've had the best couple of months of your career. What does it mean to compete alongside these girls? Because the relay is where it's at as well, like legitimate international chances. You reckon you've got the confidence to maximise your chances with the best of them?
Absolutely. I love running with these girls. I think we make a great team, and the relay is so fun to do. So final at Paris, hopefully.
And Ebony, you always start fast. Talk us through the opening leg and how important it is for you to compete with these girls as well and be part of this relay in what is such strong depth in Australian women's sprinting at the moment.
Oh, it's amazing, and like going overseas with these girls last year, it just really opened my eyes that I wanted to be in the team that got the Australian record, so I got that tonight. It is different for me, like running off a bend, because usually it's just all straights, you don't really see me doing 200s, so just got to work on what I do best, and that's getting out as fast as I can.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's Olympic year. We're in a golden era. 2 big relay opportunities. These girls, the B team as well. There's so much depth. Congratulations, girls. All the best at World Relays and hopefully the big dance. Well done. Congratulations.
Well, what a run that was. It looked fast, didn't it, Tams? And the last change in particular was absolutely first class and well rewarded with that Australian record.
Well, now we've got the men's, and they'll have seen what
They'll be fired up.
No, they will be, but it's also nerve-wracking when you've seen someone go so well. You feel that pressure and expectation, but they can do it. As we said so often tonight, our sprinting stocks is so strong, and the men's are also in the same boat as the women.
So just about ready for the introductions here. Men's 4x1, next event on the track. They'll be pumped up after what they've just seen. On the outside, it's the New South Wales team of Philip Baker, Sadil Kumar, Ethan Quintana and Leonard King. In lane 5, the Australian under-20 team, Rashid Kaba, Olivia Garrett, Archer McHugh and Franklin Niwa Jaffoy. In lane 4, the Australian B team to be led off by Jackson Rowe. Handing off to Jacob Despard. The 2-stall gift winners, Dhruv Rodriguez Chico, and then the big man from Queensland, Alex Hartman. And on the inside, Australia A in lane 3, from Sydney University, Christopher Ayus, the New South Wales champion, Sebastian Sultana, Caleb Law, who won the B100 earlier tonight in fine style, and then Josh Azapati. So 2 fast teams here, evenly matched, the Australia A and the Australia B.
Well, and you look at some of these starting lineups, it's hard to put the right team on paper into both these teams, but they look at some data and they work out who's the best person is out of blocks and who's changing well, and they've done some camps leading into this one. So fingers crossed they've got it right, but it's all about getting that reaction and having that great start to lead that team off well down the back straight.
No Rowan Browning in either of these teams.
I'm really disappointed about that because I think Australia needs Rowan Browning out there in relays because he has proven to be the quality sprinter for Australia over the last 4-year cycle.
So he's not going to go to the World Relays. He's got a Diamond League meet that's on in the camp just before it. So by mutual agreement, not available. So it doesn't mean he won't be there in Paris, of course. But for now, Australia A on the inside. Ayus and Australia B, Rowe. They're in 3 and 4. Away they go. Rowe's got a pretty good start, actually, leading out for Australia B. Ayus doing his best to try and keep on his toes, and Kaba with the junior team. So they hand off for the first time. Not bad, not bad. Sultana has got it for Australia A on the inside, and Despard for Australia B on the outside as they come around to the second change. Swift changes, particularly from Australia B. So Dhruv Rodriguez Chico, doesn't look like him. On the inside, it is Australia A. Have they got it? No, they haven't.
No.
And Chico's going to run the last leg. So Dhruv is in the groove, and he's going to come down and stop the clock at 39.14. There was a bit going on there. Australia A couldn't get the baton between Law and Azapati. Didn't look like Drew as he came around the bend, and it wasn't.
Well, I mean, it makes sense to put Hartman on the bends, right, being such a good 200-metre runner. But Daruv, Rodriguez, Chico, is really great to see him back running again, and he can represent Australia, which is fantastic news for Australia. He's now eligible to compete in the green and gold at the Paris Olympics, and he ran really well. But the boys are going to be a little bit disappointed with that one, because the first thing you've got to do is get that baton around. But that's what these practice meets under pressure are for, and it's so unfortunate because Caleb Law was running such a beautiful bend there before that handoff. Let's watch it and see what happens. Sparty's,
almost got it, didn't he?
He did, but it's just one of those things. They'll go back and look at that. You have to keep your hand really still, and you can't grab for it. And then you have to try as the incoming runner just to get that baton in that first time. But sometimes it doesn't work like that. So if you're going to have a mishap happen in these sort of meets, is probably the best way to have it happen. And what happens if you miss it the first time as the outgoing runner? You have to be really confident in the ability that your runner's going to get it the second time. You keep it really still and never move it. Don't grab for it. Just trust that your runner will get it in there. But unfortunately, that didn't happen today.
And that's the speech that Tamsin has on high repeat for her kids at school on how to change the baton. It works at all levels, whether it's under 10s at Little Ass, whether it's school relays, or when you're in the Olympic final. The good news for the Australian team is that they're safe for that qualifying for the Bahamas. They're well and truly inside the top 32, so in fact they're ranked 16th at the moment. But if they do that in the first round at the World Relays, then with 14 of the teams going directly to Paris, then you are in trouble.
Well, and the thing is,
Matreski on the long jump runway.
I'll
show
hold
some
this
respect to the
because
field events, Tamsin.
you know how much I like watching Matreski jump.
Currently leading with that 8 metres from round 3. Been working a lot on his run up.
Ooh.
And just as I say that, it's a foul. Keep going with your story.
No, I was just going to say that I think, you want to make the Olympics. Obviously, that's the first big tick that you're trying to get as a track and field athlete and for the 4x100 team members. But to make that final, I think they need Rowan Browning in that team, and I would be doing everything possible to make sure that Rowan is able to compete. And I can understand if there's a Diamond League on offer as an athlete, that's one of the things that you want to do. I think if any of those 4x100 runners out there got an offer to run at the Diamond League, they'd probably take it. Don't you think, Dave? Yeah.
Well, I think it's the right decision not to take him to the World Relays, but the door's not closed yet. The door is not closed. I think you want to go to that camp and be part of that team. It's a team sport, the relay.
But he has done camps. He has done camps.
But he's by mutual, as I said, they've sat down, they've discussed it with Andrew Murphy and Andrew Fakeney and co at Athletics Australia, and I think it's the right decision that he's not going to the Bahamas. Hari Giacchini, our para long jumper in action. So it's an interesting one. You think he should be on the plane, go to China and then go straight to the Bahamas? I'm of the view that you're all in or you're not in.
Thing is, even if he was there, I think it's a good experience for him to be there with the team, because I think they need him. That quartet needs him.
They need him in Paris.
Yep.
We agree with that.
Yep.
Women's 400. Here's the start list. Cranker on the inside's DNS. Did not start, will not start, won't start. Guthrie, Carley, the 400-metre hurdler. Saladinakos has been impressive, the Victorian. Flashed home in Canberra behind Ali Beer, who's not racing here. Rebecca Bennett. Angie Blackburn, the Olympic representative in the relay, Dunn and Otway. So Saladinakos probably goes in here as the favourite based on her times. Ali Beer's got the 3 fastest times by an Australian this summer. And Bendiria Boyer is next on the list, and then Saladinakos. So I think it's fair enough in the lead up to the Nationals. Had a lot of racing, Ellie Beer. She's just sitting this one out and is going to come back and be ready for the Nationals in a few weeks' time.
Well, it's still an exciting lineup, even without those top 2 athletes here. But Sarah Carley, the 400 hurdler, I'm looking forward to seeing how Beck Bennett goes as well.
Here's our start list for the women's 400. Meet record, Jana Pittman, 50.43. And she defeated Kathy Freeman here. Famous race. On the outside, Natalie Otway from Queensland, second in the Queensland Championships. In lane 7 from New South Wales, she was 4th in the New South Wales Championships, Tierney Dunn. In lane 6, Tokyo Olympic 4x4 representative from the ACT, Angie Blackburn. In lane 5, the New South Wales champion, representing New South Wales, Rebecca Bennett. In lane 4, Second in Canberra, the National Championship finalist from Victoria, Michaela Saladinakos. In lane 3, World Championship semi-finalist in the 400 metre hurdles from New South Wales, Sarah Carley. And in lane 2, World Under-20 Championship semi-finalist from New South Wales, Jasmine Guthrie. That is the lineup. Women's 400. So the track record here, Renee Poetska, the 1991 Australian Championships, 51.38, and that Jana v. Catherine Freeman epic of 2003. Freeman hadn't been beaten since 1999. She had a 25 race win streak, only lost once in 47 starts, and Jana beat her in that absolute duel.
It wasn't Freeman at her best, though, was it?
But
Jana ran so well.
Anyway,
it was a brilliant race.
Neither of them are here. Carly Saladinakos. Away they go. Women's 400 on the outside. It's Otway. Gone out pretty quickly on the outside lane. Back to Dunn. Then Angie Blackburn. Gone out pretty conservatively the whole field here, even on the stagger. Beck Bennett and Saladinakos starting to move through. And Sarah Carley, and then back to Guthrie. But as they go through 200 Tams, and pretty even.
Yeah, it looks like the outside lane of Otway has gone out really, really fast as that outside lane runner. But Beck Bennett has worked hard from halfway down that back straight to this point of the race, but can't count out Michaela Saladinakos. She's coming through the field now. Sarah
Carley starting to make her move as well. So is Guthrie on the inside. So Saladinakos, she finished very quickly in Canberra. Bennett's paying the price for her early speed. Carley's not done with just yet, but Saladinakos, she keeps her form well, and after a couple of second placings, she's going to get a win, and does it in fine style. So Saladinakos ahead of Carley and Guthrie on the inside. 52.77 is the unofficial time.
Fantastic race. It was sort of a race in stages, wasn't it? Because they all looked like they were going a little bit more conservative over that first 100 metres. It was definitely Otway who really set that early tempo. And down the back straight, it almost looked like Beck Bennett changed gear. And in a 400, you want it to be a little bit smoother when you transition to, you know, you come out of the blocks, you want to be fast, you don't want to change gear down the back straight. And Beck Bennett, you can see in the white, finishing in 4th, just paid the price of that back straight move. But Saladinakos, hasn't she had a great, great season? An athlete who was a great junior and then had some real injury battles and didn't actually take the track for a couple of years, but she's back out here now and competing really, really well. Another sub-53 second run and a win to her name. She'll be very happy to get that job done.
Had the PB of 52.62 in Canberra, so just outside that, but she's got a level of consistency now. Nathan is trackside. Not sure that Carla's ready to speak just yet, trying to get some deep breaths in.
Well, we've had quality 400-metre runners. You mentioned Freeman and Pittman before this race. That race was phenomenal, but you know, Pittman improved because she had to lift to be like a Kathy Freeman type of athlete, and that's what's going to happen here. These girls are competing really well against each other, and Michaela has lifted again to try and get that win, which is great.
Let's go and hear from her now with Nathan.
Very, very close to another PB. She did a PB, which was a 5-year-old one. Talk us through that race, and to be so close again, you've been pretty consistent here into the back end of the domestic season.
Yeah, just been training hard through lots of injuries, so really happy to be back and running some fast times.
And you had a bit of a break as well during COVID. You're injured during that time. Talk us through mentally and how that was for you during that period.
Yeah, it was pretty tough. We just kept training and then getting injured with bone spurs in my foot. Would recover and be ready to race for race season and then get injured again. And that happened like on repeat like 3 or 4 times. So yeah, it was pretty tough, but glad we pushed through it.
Well, exciting times ahead. Nationals not too far away. Another win here. Congratulations, Michaela Saladinakos. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the women's 400 metres. Congratulations.
Hey, thank you so much.
Well done.
Yeah, it was an excellent run, no doubt. Tamsin, you've got some news on the women's 4x1. We'll probably take a look at some results of that 400, but give us that 4x1 news.
Well, the under-20 women's, we didn't only have the national record for the open women, the under-20 women have also broken that record that they only recently broke in New Zealand. So Chelsea, Scolia, Zara Hagen, there it is, 44.34. What a fantastic run. And Olivia Dodds on third, brilliant leg to, I tell you what, talking about Kathy Freeman, a bit of a superstar in the making, I think, in that 4th leg. Jess Malat, I know that's a big
Well, talking about superstars, have a look at this youngster here, because
What do you do?
ES Marks, this is from the Pacific School Games in what year?
1988.
1988 it was here. There's Tamsin with the Australian team doing her best smile for the camera at the Opera House. And then this was a little bit later in your career at the Sugar Games. So that was like the all schools
Yes,
of the time.
here at ES
Here
Marks.
at ES Marks. And there you are at the Pacific. Have a look at you.
Well,
10-year-old baby Tamsin. You haven't changed a bit.
I just ran at 200 metres. It was a long way.
And there you are with your mum, Carolyn, who was, of course, one of our great high jumpers. And the bridge is still there.
Yeah, my mum's going to be really happy with that picture you've just put up, Colin.
Magnificent.
But what a great effort by that women's 4x100.
No, you're not getting off the hook about that. ES Marks. Is, you know, I look back through the history here, and I couldn't believe this. Not to make this all about me, but I did win an Australian Championship here. But I jumped 8.17 in a Commonwealth Games trials here, and I cannot remember it for the life of me. And there's 8.17.
It's because we're getting old, right?
I would have won the long jump today by 17 centimetres.
Oh, Chris
Sorry,
Matrevsky. Come on.
But how cute were you as just a youngster?
Oh,
the Pacific School Games.
Yes, the Pacific School Games were held on this track in 1988, and a lot of good athletes have come through this track, and it's so good to see so many kids out there in the middle and the fan zone having a great time, and the crowd's great, and we're seeing some fantastic races.
You're going to regret me asking that question this morning. Did you ever compete here, Tamsin?
Yes, I do regret it.
Great little pictures. Chris Matrevsky won the long jump, 8 metres, ahead of Zane Branco, who jumped 7.99 in the final round with a 0.0. So personal best for Zane, 1 centimetre short of the magical 8 metre mark. And Lin of Chinese Taipei was third, 7.60. Saw the start list for the men's 400. Just about ready to introduce the field here. Another tight one. Should be a good battle here, because like the women's, we've got some depth.
Well, it's what I was saying before. It's about that. If you can just get those athletes to be competing against each other like we're seeing in the women's and men's sprints, they start to lift to that next level. And so when you were speaking about the Kathy Freeman, Jana Pittman duel, you'll see that with the women's 400, and now with the men's 400, the depth's getting better.
So we've got 6 men under 46 seconds.
Yeah.
Let's introduce the field for the men's 400 metres. Meet record, Fred Curley, of course, last year. The track record, Rick Mitchell at the 1980 National Championships here is 45.35. On the outside, in lane 8, representing Thailand, based in New South Wales, he's the Thai national record holder over 800 metres, Josh Atkinson. In lane 7, the Victorian champion over 200 and 400 metres, personal best this season of 45.98, Cooper Sherman. In lane 6, World Championship semi-finalist, great return to form in Canberra, where he finished in second, representing Queensland, Alex Beck. In lane 5, please welcome the national champion, the winner in Canberra with a personal best of 45.57, Luke van Rattingen. In lane 4, former all-schools champion, making a good return to the sport after a few years away from New South Wales, John Gickas. In lane 3, from the ACT, third in Canberra in a swift time, this is Nick Donaldson. In lane 2, representing Victoria, the 19-year-old Thomas Reynolds. And on the inside, won the New South Wales Championship last week, Ian Halpin. Quality field, men's 400.
It's certainly a tight lane draw for Ian Halpin, the tall athlete on the inside, the 30-year-old from Blue Mountains.
So the Canberra race was the one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
With Van Rattingen, PB, Beck a season's best, Donaldson a season's best. Van Rattingen's 45.57, the fastest in Australia this summer. Reese Holder's got the Olympic qualifier from that World University Games, but not racing today. What do you think, Tamsin?
Well, I think, look for John Glycus to go out really hard, the 24-year-old who has a best 200 of 20.66. Nicholas Donaldson is rounding into some great form. But Alex Beck, I think he's the one to watch. He's got the experience.
Keep an eye on Cooper Sherman too. He's a youngster, 20 years of age, 200 and 400 Vic champion, one of the favourites for the Stall gift. Away they go in the 400. So on the outside, it's Atkinson leads them away from Cooper Sherman, the youngster from Ballarat. Alex Beck behind him, and then Van Rattingen, and they've put in a bit of space to Gickas. Back to Donaldson, then Reynolds and Halpin. So Two sections at the moment as they go down the back straight. The outside four have just stretched away a fraction.
Definitely looks like to race in two sections, doesn't it? Alex Beck is definitely in the lead here, and he's holding his form really well as he comes up onto Joshua Atkinson's shoulder.
He's a bit ungaily, Van Rattingen, but he's gritting the teeth as he comes into the straight. So it's Beck who leads from Van Rattingen, the national champion, and then Cooper Sherman. Van Rattingen starting to move into his work now. Gets alongside Alex Beck. Sherman on the outside's got them all. And the man from Ballarat salutes and gets the win in 45.70 ahead of Van Rattingen and Beck.
Wow! Wow, what a great finish by Cooper Sherman.
Smashed his personal best. 45.71. And that is a tremendous run. He's got 0.5 in the stall gift next week. Will he go? It's a big question for him because he's got a lot of running. And now he has put himself firmly in the frame for Olympic selection in the 4x4. Van Rattingen was impressive. Beck as well.
See here, Alex Beck has put himself in the best position in this field to try and get that win and to run on with it, but he gets a little bit wooden in his legs. He needed that race for the race hardness. I'd love to see what Luke Van Rattingen could do over 800 metres. He's a little bit messy and round-shouldered, head down, but he just keeps throwing those legs out towards the end. But that race was all about Cooper Sherman in that last 50 metres. He stayed relaxed and he just ran off that ground beautifully for the back end of a 400 metres.
Well, that was impressive. But it was a great race, and we knew it was going to be close. Alex Beck put himself right in the mix. I love the way Luke Van Rattingen attacks the sport. You've got a great story about him, Tamsin, but it takes about 15 minutes, so we're going to wait for the semi-finals of the Nationals. So you're going to have to tune in 3 weeks' time to hear that. That was a very good race indeed. Women's high jump is underway.
See Joshua Atkinson, of course, he represents Thailand. He is a great 400, 800 runner coming through the junior ranks in Australia, where he grew up. He's now 20 years of age. He was 5th at the world under 20s in that 400 metres of 46.31. So season's best of 46.80 for Atkinson in 5th. And Ian Halpin, it's good to see him back as well, finishing in 4th.
Women's long jump going through their final stages of warm-up. High jump has commenced, and the height of the bar is at 175 at the moment. Eleanor Patterson passing so far. Here's the start list. Good bunch of juniors here. Isabel Lewis and Rowe won a gaggle of events at the New South Wales Championships in the senior and juniors. She's very good at the high jump. She won the triple jump, long jump, good hurdler. So she's an all-rounder. Erin Shaw and Toby Stolberg, 2 of our good juniors. What are you?
Did you say a gaggle of events? Is that a collective
noun? That's a collective noun for
are you sure?
when you do a number of events.
A gaggle of events.
Gaggle of events. You should get you should work on your dictionary. I know you take a lot of notes, etc., but maybe just start at A and work your way through to Z and expand your vocabulary.
I am excited about our juniors, though, in the women's high jump coming through, and I think that's another one where Eleanor Patterson and Nicola Oleslagers have just set that bar, excuse the pun, so high that other high jumpers are now seeing what's capable of our women high jumpers in Australia, and they're really aiming high when they run, are able to compete against and rub shoulders with world-class high jumpers here in their backyard.
So it's an interesting decision for Cooper Sherman, actually, ahead of the stall gift next week, because 3 big runs over 120 when you've got the national championships and a few big 400s. But he's in the mix for it because he won in Ballarat and he was super impressive again tonight. So a lot more action still to come here from the Chemist Warehouse Sydney Track Classic. We've had some tremendous events already, an Australian senior and junior. Welcome back to ES Marks. Gone back in time here, 30 years since we've held a meet at the suburban venue. When I say suburban, it's on the back door of the Sydney CBD, just across the road from Centennial Park and Randwick. Australian Women's 3,000 metre Championship is the next event on the track, and they're just about ready to line up here. Got a big field of 25 competitors, 24 in fact, and it's stacked with some of our best. Sort of a mix between our track runners and the steeplechasers. Next event on the track, ladies and gentlemen, is the 3,000 metres Championship of Australia. The meet record is held by the defending champion here, Jess Hull, with her 8:31.81 set last year. Big field of 24 athletes. We'll just introduce some of them on the start line and then we'll get them underway. Wearing hip number 5, Tokyo Olympian Rose Davies. She's got a medal in the last 3 years here in this event. In lane position 6, Tokyo 5,000 metre representative, second in Melbourne in that epic 5,000, Izzy Bat-Doyle. Hip number 7, the 1,500 metre national record holder, Lyndon Hall. Hip number 8, off to the World Cross Country Championships in Belgrade. It's great to have her back on the track and in form, Melissa Duncan. In lane 9, World Champs and Commonwealth Games representative from Victoria, Natalie Rule. And in lane 10, the defending champion, 4th at the World Indoor Championships, the national record holder of the over the mile, the 3,000 and the 5,000 from New South Wales, Jessica Hull. Stack of other names in this, including Jen Gregson and Georgia Griffiths, Carla Fay and Ryan. They're everywhere. Jodie McCann from Ireland. But let's get them underway. Women's 3,000 Australian title. So 7.5 laps. The breeze, what's it doing? It's sort of settled down a little bit, I think, by what we've seen in the long jump and the sprints, Tamsin. There's not much wind at all at the moment. Overcast as well, but quite warm, so temperature not too bad. And a false start in the 3,000. What is going on?
Well, it gives us a chance to mention Cara Fay and Ryan, who was the World Uni Games steeplechase winner. Jen Gregson, of course, aiming for her 4th Olympic Games. Run that fantastic marathon in Valencia. She's back on the track here tonight. And Georgia Griffith, a World Championship finalist over 1,500 metres. Who broke?
Well, I can't imagine anyone's going to get a card on that. I think it was maybe a misfire. Sarah Billings on the inside as well. PB over 800 metres in Canberra, so that's the stretch. So away we go. 3,000 metre Championship of Australia. We've got the 2 staggered groups as they will form as they come into the straight the first time, just to give themselves a bit of free running, given the size of the field is so strong. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. They'll be certainly looking to see what Jess Hull does, where she goes. She's in the green uniform in the middle there, just on the outside of Lyndon Hall. And they are following the Irish woman Jodie McCann, who of course flashed home in Canberra to get the win in impressive style as they go out of the straight for the first time. So the pace is pretty conservative at the moment, Tamsin, and they're just sorting each other out. So it's McCann, then Hall, Billings, Rose Davies, hip number 5. Izzy Bat-Doyle's had enough of that, and she said, I'm going to go with a little injection of speed here. Been so impressive over the marathon, Valencia, and that super fast time, but currently in a real battle as to what they do. I wouldn't want to be a selector when it comes to the Australian marathon team, because 5 or 6 doesn't go into 3. So I think Izzy's decided that the 5,000, 10,000 after that great run in Melbourne at the Maurie Plant meet might give us some backup depending on what happens.
What an impressive athlete Izzy Bat-Doyle is, though. The range of some of these athletes in this field is just quite incredible. You've got Izzy Bat-Doyle, who's got that range over 5,000, 10,000, and now the marathon. You've got Sarah Billings, who you mentioned before. She ran a 2 flat 800. She's run a great 1,500, and she's now out here at the 3,000 metre championships. Georgia Griffith, Lyndon Hall are quite similar with their range as well. There's a lot of quality in this field, but I do love what Izzy Bat-Doyle is doing here. You know, she knows that she's got that distance running in her legs, can run a marathon super fast, has that 10,000, the 5,000 she was super stoked with the time that her and Rose Davies ran in the Maury Plant meet. But she needs this fast. When you've got a Georgia Griffith, Lyndon Hall, Sarah Billings in the race that have fast 800 metre, 1500 metre pace, you've got to try and run some of the sting out of the legs of those athletes. And you can see here, she's really pushing the tempo along. She's making them work hard. She got a gap of about 3 metres then, and you can see that Lyndon Hall has bridged that gap back up onto Izzy Bat-Doyle's shoulders. And Rose Davies is sitting in that 3rd position, and Jess Hull just biding her time, sitting in that 4th position, which is the position she finished those World Indoors, that fabulous World Indoor campaign where she ran the 3,000 metres and finished in 4th.
It was a great run, wasn't it? She was right there until the final lap, and 200 metres to go, and then all of a sudden the pace went on and just wasn't able to continue with the fierce pace that was being set. So they're going to come down with 5 to go here, and it's Izzy Bat-Doyle, the South Australian Tokyo Olympian, who leads. Lyndon Hall, the national record holder, over 1,500 metres. Then we go back to Rose Davies, Billings, McCann just behind Hull, who's running a pretty conservative race. I don't think the race record's under threat here, that's for sure.
And in 6th position, you have Jenny Blundell, the 29-year-old who is a super talented junior. Went to the Youth Olympics, the inaugural 2010 Youth Olympics, was a World Under-20 representative, junior cross-country champion. And she's a semi-finalist too, Dave, at an Olympic Games.
There's a lot of quality here. Right in the middle of the fact, you see the tall figure, about a 7th or 8th. It's Morty Skyring in the black briefs and the white and green top, the on top, and then just on their outside in the purple, it's Georgia Griffiths moving forward. Jen Gregson right there as well. Jen's been all over the place, hasn't she? She went back to the US for a wedding.
Yep.
She was a bridesmaid, and now she's arrived back this week and virtually arrived back from the US and went straight back onto the plane to come down to Sydney.
Well, Jen loves to race, and
Loves
that's
to
her.
travel too. She must love to fly.
But she's okay. She loves to race. She loves to compete. She's really taken to the life of an athlete. We're talking about an athlete in 2012 who made her first Olympics with the hashtag Let Lacaz Run. But she's settled in that marathon. You know, she's coming out here. She's using tonight as a training session. So smart. You'd rather do your training session with a bunch of your friends out there than on your own on a lonely training track. She does a lot of her training in Queensland with Cara Faye and Ryan, the world uni gold medalist in the steeplechase, who's in this race as well. So there's a lot going on in this field. It is a big field, and you can see there's still quite a large number of athletes in that lead pack. Jen Gregson's towards the middle of that pack. Cara Faye and Ryan, who does a lot of training with her that we just mentioned, is right behind her. There's a lot going on. Nat Ruler's at the back of that pack. Lissy Duncan with the 8 on her hip has just come off fresh off that cross-country championships and is having a great race as well here. So it's still Izzy Bat-Doyle in the lead, looking strong and looking very happy to have that clear run out there in front.
So it's Bat-Doyle who leads from Hall. Davies, who was the 2022 winner of the 3,000. Then Hull, who's just moving forward a fraction, just starting to make her presence felt, the defending champion. So she's moving up into 3rd spot. Davies there, Billings, Griffith moving into a more prominent position. So is Blundell, hip number 2, Skyring. So there's a lot there, Tamsin, with 3 to go.
Well, Lyndon Hall sitting in 2nd position is looking fantastic as well. She's fresh off a World Indoor campaign as well over the 1,500 metres. And although she did not make that final, she kind of looked like she took a big step forward in this season. The middle distance ranks in Australia is so tough. You need to make sure that you're in good shape for those national championships, those Olympic trials in Adelaide in a few weeks' time. So Lyndon Hall's looking quite good there in 2nd. A lot of the athletes, you can just look at their faces here. You've got Jess Hull looking comfortable, and, you know, I feel like this is Jess Hull's year, this Olympic year. Rose Davies still looks great. Sarah Billings looks fantastic sitting there in 5th position, and so does Georgia Griffith, and you've got Jenny Blundell there. Looks like there's a little bit of a gap, but it looks like Morty Skyring is just trying to make sure that she doesn't lose sight of that 6th athlete there.
She's
in
got
Jenny
a grimace,
Blundell.
no doubt. So does Duncan and McCann there at the back of this group. So they swing around. They'll have 2 to go once they pass the start-finish line. And Bat-Doyle, who's been in front for the last 4 or 5 laps, probably the first 600 she was behind and then took up the running. So Bat-Doyle it is, starting to bunch up a bit as Hall moves up on her outside into 2nd. And on the outside of them, it's Rose Davies. Georgia Griffiths there as well. Billings, they're all there in fact. There's 6 or 7 of them with 2 to go.
You almost feel like Jess Hull's just moved to the side, hasn't she, of Izzy Bat-Doyle's shoulder, and she's just waiting. She might have spoken to her coach before this race and said, I'm going to hold back as long as I can, but she looks like she is ready there to pounce.
There's 8 as they go down the back straight, with Skyring desperately trying to hold on at the back. Just in front of her is Billings as we move from the back to the front, the right to the left of screen. Georgia Griffith is there. Lyndon Hall just getting boxed a little bit as Izzy Batdor goes backwards fractionally as Hull just puts in a little bit of extra speed.
She has, but she hasn't dropped anyone. Rose Davies is right there, and you can see that Lyndon Hall is still tracking every move and looking great there in the 3rd position. Izzy Batdor has done all the work so far, so she's now just got to try and hold on in that 4th position. Jenny Blundell is coming through as well.
So who's got the best speed here? Well, we know that Jess Hull's been in tremendous form, and she has surged to the front. So they come down to get the bell. It's the last 2 winners that are in 1st and 2nd, and Hull has stretched the margin by 5 or 6 metres and tries to make it 10. So the defending champion goes out into the lead. In 2nd place, it's Rose Davies. Lyndon Hall and then Georgia Griffith, the 2 1,500 metre specialists, move up into 2nd and 3rd at the moment. Big fight on, but have a look at Jess Hull as she stretches away down the back straight. She's got a good lead.
I tell you what, Jess Hull has got this race sewn up, but Georgia Griffith is also covering these moves. It's a race for that silver medal now, and Georgia Griffith is going onto the shoulder and past Lyndon Hall.
So this is an impressive run from Georgia Griffith as she stylishly moves up into 2nd place, but we turn our attention to the leader. It's Jess Hull as she comes into the straight. I think she's got a big enough margin, but Georgia Griffith is still closing and rapidly, but it's not going to be enough. And Jess Hull has been so impressive. Last year, she smashed her personal best. This year, she gets the win. Georgia Griffith's impressive in 2nd, Rose Davies 3rd, Lyndon Hall gets 4th, Skyring hung on brilliantly to finish in next, and then Jenny Blundell. But the winner, Jessica Hull.
Rose Davies has tackled Georgia Griffith on the sidelines, which you can see is a lot of emotion for Georgia. She had such a hard year last year, battling injuries. Wonderful, wonderful last lap by Georgia Griffith. I'd love to know what Jess Hull's race plan was then. It kind of looked like she was just practicing that final kick, you know, trying to make sure that she has that sting in her legs in a major championships where you need to practice that sprint finish because it's going to come at those championship style of races. But Jess Hull held back. You can see she wanted to go early, but she waited and really put a spurt on with 400 metres to go and made a big gap. But Georgia Griffith finished that one off really well.
I'll tell you what, how good is our middle distance running when you consider the talent that was in this field? Full credit to Maury Skyring, who boxed on. She looked like she was in a world of pain with 3 to go. There's Jessica Hull. It was a withering burst with 450 metres to go.
And they have such super fast times, and the credit has to go to Izzy Batdor because she went from about 200 metres down that back straight to that first 400 metre lap. She took that lead and she did not look back. She went really fast, she injected the pace in, and she made sure that that was a decent, honest clip.
So Jessica Hull gets back-to-back titles here in the 3,000 metres, 8:37.18. Georgia Griffith in 2nd, Rose Davies in 3rd. They're the top 3. PB for Rose Davies, 8:39.81. And for Georgia Griffith, 8:37.85. So tremendous running. Nathan Breen is with our winner, Jessica Hull.
Well, we thought she had it when she surged with a lap and a bit to go. It was just a significant injection of speed, but then Griffith came. I'd love to know what her last lap was, but did you feel them coming because they were storming home?
Yeah, I was listening to Tamsin and Dave, and I might have got a bit too comfortable in what they were saying. So, but I could tell too the crowd was getting so excited. So, I kind of knew someone was coming. Yeah.
Well, the quality's there. There's 8 Olympians in that field who've been to 13 games. Middle distance in Australia right now. How good is it?
Oh, it's incredible, and it's really cool to come out and see the stands packed for the Free K Championships and put us within the Sydney Track Classic. The 4x1 girls got us off to a killer start where we knew tonight was going to be fast.
You're one of the crowd favourites. From Albion Park Little Athletics, a couple of people thought that we should give the South Coast a mention. So shout out to all our juniors here as well. You've inspired a lot. All the best for the rest of the season. You've been on fire.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jess Hull, your Australian women's 3,000 metre champion, defending her title yet again here in 2024.
You did call it early, Dave. You did say that she had it, and I was worried. I was watching that last 120 of Georgia Griffith. I was, woof.
Confirmation of the results. Some people might have been in a mild panic, but Jess Hull got the win, ladies and gentlemen, and did it pretty comfortably. Season's best outdoors of 8:37, of course, world indoor national record. A little swifter than that, but that was an impressive 8:24. Of course, she ran in Glasgow after running a super fast time in Boston as well. Women's long jump is underway. Women's high jump also going. So Sam Dale's in front here, ahead of Amelia Search. Here's Scary, the heptathlete. Brooke Bushkull, a foul. Izzy Heading, who had a good win in Christchurch, are the ones to watch there. Women's high jump also, bar is up to 184, and Eleanor Patterson has come in at 180 and had a clearance, but the field currently unable to get over 184. Isabel Lewis and Rowe, Eleanor Patterson, Toby Stolberg and Erin Shaw all having misses at 184. Charlotte Banks on the runway, third in the New South Wales Championships, the 22-year-old. She's a 6-metre performer, personal best. Dad Peter was an Australian decathlon champion, Commonwealth Games representative. So we'll give you that distance for Banks once we've got it. But Samantha Dale leading only in the first round of that women's long jump. Women's 800 is next on the track, and again another competitive race here. No Hollingsworth or a boy, but I kind of like the fact that we see a different situation here with Caldwell and Bissett as the two, and they've got a bit to chase in terms of time because of what happened in Canberra with Claudia Hollingsworth setting a meet record and Aboya right behind her in Olympic qualifiers. Here's the lineup, women's 800 metres. The meet record held by Abby Caldwell, 1:58.62 last year. The track record, Sharon Stewart back in 1989 at the Commonwealth Games trials. In lane 8, representing Israel, 7-time national champion Shani Landon. In lane 7 is our pacemaker from New South Wales, Fleur Cooper. In lane 6, second in the New South Wales Championships, Matilda Ryan. In lane 5, the Australian record holder in this event, representing Victoria, Katrina Bissett. In lane 4, the Australian All Schools champion, the 18-year-old from New South Wales, Taissa Buchanan. In lane 3, Commonwealth Games and World Cross Country bronze medalist, the winner in Adelaide from Victoria, Abby Caldwell. In lane 2, the 2017 Australian champion, great to have her back, from New South Wales, Laura Roth. And on the inside, the 2-time Japanese national champion, Yume Kitamura. 8 starters, women's 800.
Well, it's going to be a fascinating duel again to see what Caldwell and Bissett can produce. They've had some great battles so far this season. Quality athletes, both world class in the 800 metres.
I reckon they want to run some time here because they're a long way down the season's best list. They haven't broken 2 minutes. It's not a snack, that's for sure. So away they go in the 800, 2 laps the journey. So Landon on the outside, Cooper will move to the front if she can. She's doing the pace, but Bissett's given a good indication of her intentions because she's gone straight past Matilda Ryan, and Caldwell will have to react to that. So Bissett and our pacemaker Fleur Cooper is going to have to do a little bit of work here to get to the front because Bissett's gone out strongly.
Well, Bissett's just off that World Indoors where she made a semi-final, and she's setting the tone here. She wants it to be fast. The pace has been set. They want 57 seconds for Cooper to produce, and she's really on it now. She's making sure that she's setting that clip up, and you look the way Katrina went out, she wants a fast race here. You're right, Dave. She wants to get a season's best that says that she's right in the mix for those trials where we've got 4 qualifiers for the Olympics.
So 57 seconds is the time we're looking for, and our pacemaker Fleur Cooper's done a good job here after fighting to get to the front. Bissett the Australian record holder, is in second, so 58.1. So a little slower than they would have liked, but not too far away. So the pacemaker will step off shortly, and Bissett will take charge of this race as they head towards the back straight. Caldwell is right on her shoulder.
Well, and there's also Roth. Roth is still in there as well with a fight. She had a mishap at those New South Wales Championships, so she'll be wanting to have a good run, but it's all about Katrina Bissett, and Abby Caldwell is holding on to her shoulders here, but Bissett's still throwing her legs out really nicely here and holding her form well.
So as we know, this is when it starts to get a little bit painful as they come down to the final 200, as they go through 600. Both of them still running strongly. So Bissett, it is in front. Caldwell, who won in Adelaide, is in second place, and then back to Roth, and a big gap back to Ryan. So into the straight. Who's it going to be? Bissett's in front. Caldwell starts to move onto her shoulder now to challenge. Bissett can't respond, and Abby Caldwell looks like she's done enough here, and she is going to get the win. Her second one of the season. She comes down. Does she get under 2 minutes? It does. 1:59.72 for Abby Caldwell. That's a good run. Katrina Bissett in second. Laura Ross run a great race to finish in third place. But they wanted sub 2. They got sub 2.
There is a lot to like about that run for both athletes going into an Olympic trials. Caldwell will like that for the reasons that she finished so strongly. She's a 1,500 metre runner, and she wants to get a fast 800 on the board to help with that, you know, pace tempo of that 1,500 metres. So she'll be happy with that one. But that's the best run I've seen Katrina do all season. We've seen Katrina run a little bit, she's got a little bit more wooden at the back end of her races this season so far, but she was strong here. She really set that tempo when the pace was a little bit back in that crossover, the first 200 metres. She set the tempo. She made sure the pacer had to pick up and get to the front. So Cooper had to work a little bit harder to make sure that tempo was good early. And I think Katrina should look back on that and go, okay, I'm heading in the right direction. That was a great run by both girls.
So 2:00.29 for Bissett and Laura Roth, 2:04.69. You're right about Katrina Bissett. She does so much work, and the others are just able to sit back, and she kind of needs somebody ahead of her. You add back Boyer and Hollingsworth, and it changes the dynamics.
It's nerve-wracking though. It's such a quality 800 metre women's field at these Olympic trials that are coming up in Adelaide. So, I mean, Katrina gets nervous before races, as you should, because you know, you're the national record holder, you're defending champion, you've won multiple national titles, you want to do it again. So, but she can lead because the way that she throws her legs out, sometimes being in the lead is the best position for Katrina. She just needs to learn to do it relaxed. But I thought that was a great run by both the athletes out in front. So
it's confirmation of the result. Caldwell 1:59.71. Bissett just outside that 2-minute barrier, and a couple of seasons bests at the bottom as well. High jump continuing. Height of the bar 184 still, and Patterson has gone clear. We just had one other athlete go over as well. Just turn that light on, Tamsin, in our commentary position here, and I'm not sure whether I need it or not. It's sort of in between. It's very bright when it's on. I can't see the track, and if it's the light on inside's not on, I can't see the names on the bit of paper. So it's a bit of a problem. Just about ready for the men's 800 metres. Next event on the track. Let's introduce our field. It's a big one. Hip number 10 on the outside, second in the New South Wales Championships, Obsa Yusuf. Sharing lane 7, we've got our pacemaker Luke Murphy, and the bronze medalist in the New South Wales Championships, Benjamin Jager, the man in the hat. In lane 6, World University Games semi-finalist Jai Perrott from New South Wales. Sharing lane 5, on the outside from Japan, 6th in the Asian Championships in 2023, Kentaro Usada. And on the inside, the World Under-20 representative, good return to form in New South Wales, in Canberra, Lachlan Raper. In lane 4, please welcome our winner in Melbourne, Australian Under-20 record holder, Peyton Craig. In lane 3, World Under-20 semi-finalist, Luke Boyes. In lane 2, World University Games finalist, Jack Lunn. And on the inside, it's Mason Cohen, the New South Wales champion. It's a big field, 10 starters, men's 800.
It is a big field, which is going to mean that it's very, very important to get to that crossover and be in a good position, because it could be rough. You just got to hold your elbows out that little bit wider and just try and find a good position.
Might need that light on, I think. I'm not sure if I can see the track when the light's on. It's just about ready. So what are we expecting here? It'll be interesting because Craig's a fierce racer. London boys have been thereabouts in all of the races so far this year. In fact, boys has had a string of second placings and Lund's been right behind him. So as they go down the back straight the first time, Mason Cohen it is with hip number 1. Jack Lund in the striped shorts. Be hard to miss him. Peyton Craig just back a little bit. In fact, he's been shuffled around a little bit. Raper is right behind him, 4 and 5. In fact, Craig's had enough of being on the inside. He wants to go to the outside as our pacemaker finally gets to the front.
Well, Murphy got to the front, but Jack Lund looks like his intent is to have a really good race. He's had some great races so far this season, but you can tell that he wants to finish across the line first. So he's put himself right behind the pacemaker, and he looks super relaxed sitting there in second position. You can see Peyton Craig that's just worked a little bit harder to get around to be on the shoulder, and they're all up there ready to strike with a 52.16 first lap.
Pretty good pace, wasn't it? So the pacemaker has done a good job here, and Lund is going to be the man who's left in front with 350 metres to go. Boys behind him, Craig just opening a bit of a gap. We know he's a fast finisher. Mason Cohen on the inside of him, then Raper and Obsa Yusuf in the Sydney University colours. They're the first 5 or 6 as they go down the back straight. So Lund and Boys starting to challenge.
Well, Lund is running really nicely and tall still at the back end of an 800, but Boys is really putting the challenge onto Jack Lund here. And we haven't even mentioned Peyton Craig, who's still just a couple of steps back, strides back in that third position, ready to pounce.
He's got to get busy, Peyton Craig, if he wants to get up here, but he's starting to lift. So into the straight, it's Boys who leads from Lund, then Craig Raper down the outside. Craig, as he does, he hunches over, he works hard. Boys, Craig, who's going to get it? I think the big man on the inside. Maybe, we're a bit in front of the line, but I think that Luke Boys might have just got the win ahead of Peyton Craig. Another entertaining clash here, 145.79.
Fantastic run there by all athletes out in the lead group. It was a great race down the front straight. Luke Boys came over the top of Jack Lund and held his form down that front straight. Peyton Craig was really challenging hard on Luke Boys, but I loved how he was able to stay relaxed. The 20-year-old, the run crew athlete who's coached by Ben St. Lawrence. He's run 145.86 to Peyton Craig's 145.87. It's super, super close, but Jack Lund's had a great run as well there in third. I thought he put himself in the best position to try and win that race. Look at the tempo. Peyton Craig's really left his run a little bit too late. I know it sucks to lose. You don't want to lose, but sometimes you learn a lot from your losses, and I think Peyton Craig heading into the championships will learn a lot looking back at that race about his tactics. But Luke Boys did everything right then, and the 20-year-old was rewarded with that win.
Big PB too, 145.86, so that beats his 146.15, his previous personal best. So Peyton Craig 145.87, Jack Lund 146.63, and a season's best for Raper and Cohen 146.96, 147.04. PB for Obsa Yusuf too in 6th spot as we go back to the long jump, and heading now leading with 6.24. This is Brennan. Should mention, if you're watching at home and want to keep up to date with the results, then download the Roster Athletics app. That's what we're following here for these live results. They pop up at the same time as they get them officially, and you can see them at the same time that we do. There's also field event results round by round, and so the Roster Athletics app, you go to Chemist Warehouse Summer Series, you can see all the information, and you can see that Luke Boys won that men's 800 in a personal best of 145.86 ahead of Peyton Craig and Jack Lund, and then a string of season's best PBs down the list. Good race. Good racing, Tams. We knew that we were going to see some quality athletics, field and track, and we have. Women's high jump update. It's been hard to squeeze in some of the action. The jumpers haven't been timed well with our distance races here. Eleanor Patterson is over at 184, so is Erin Shaw, and Lewis and Rowe and Stolberg both went out at 184 after clearing 180. Sam Dale in the long jump, she's in second place, 6:17. She's jumped twice so far.
Sam Dale's had a good season so far, the 22-year-old Australian representative, 11.76, 100 PB, and you can see Eleanor clearing the high jump there. It's hard to judge whether Eleanor's ever happy sometimes through the competition. You can tell straight after it, especially when she's won a world title, but she's so super focused and beautiful technician over the high jump bar.
So it's 188, so she's gone clear. Of course, she went over to Europe. She hasn't competed in Australia for nearly 2.5 years. You've got to go back quite a way to Canberra. In fact, the Sydney Track Classic in 2020, she jumped once in 22 and once in 21. Of course, she won 4 national titles in a row when she was just a youngster and around that Commonwealth Games gold medal in Glasgow. Erin Shaw is one of our talented youngsters.
The 19-year-old who lived in Germany for part of her childhood growing up. She's a Sydney Uni athlete, Bachelor of Exercise Science and Advanced Studies. And in February 2023, she jumped 190 indoors, so had her World Champs debut in 2023 in Hungary. Training
partner of Eleanor Patterson. Of course, Patterson went with the intention of competing at the World Indoor Championships, which of course Nicola Oleschlager's won, but just picked up a little injury and decided in the Olympic year to come home. Turn the light on, Tamsin, so you can actually see your notes here. So there's Shaw is out at 188.
Oh.
Now we'll try with the light on.
I'm just laughing because I literally
That's
could
better.
not read.
So the light on is good. I
Sorry,
know if you're at
Erin.
home, we're high above in the old grandstand here, and we're sort of perched over the finish line. And so when the light's on, the reflection makes it hard to see the track, but we can see our notes. So we've got this mix between do we know who's in what lane and not be able to see the track, or do we see our notes? And I'm going with the notes at the moment. So women's 100 Ambulant is next event on the track. Here's our lineup for the women's 100 metres Ambulant. In lane 2 from New South Wales, Sabella Wharton. In lane 3, World Para Athletics silver medalist from New South Wales, Marley Lovell. In lane 4 from New South Wales, Summer Giddings. In lane 5, representing New South Wales, Tamsin Cully. In lane 6 from the ACT, Commonwealth Games finalist and Commonwealth Youth Games silver medalist, Indiana Cooper. In lane 7 from New South Wales, Charlize Colwell. In lane 8 from New South Wales, Talaya Blacksmith. And in lane 9 from New South Wales, Layla Sharp. Women's Ambulant 100 metres. So I've got a mix of classifications here from T37, T36 and T20, which is Blacksmith, and Marley Lovell's been in great form.
Marley Lovell has been in sensational form, the 19-year-old, but I'm also really looking forward to seeing Blacksmith, the T20 athlete. She's an exciting talent coming through. She went to the Virtus Games in France in 2023.
So the T20's intellectual impairment, the 35 to 38's a coordination impairment, so cerebral palsy and others. So away they go in the women's Ambulant 100, and Blacksmith's got a good start on the outside, and on the inside back to Lovell. Of course, we're going on the baseline system, so they'll work out their points based on the world record, but Blacksmith's superb here, crosses the line in front. Colwell there as well, and on the inside Lovell, but that was an impressive run. Talaya Blacksmith from New South Wales.
Well, she is an impressive athlete, like we said, the Walpuri track star. She's took 3 gold medals at the New South Wales Aths Championships late in 2023. In the 100, as we saw, she's very, very strong, but she's also brilliant over the 200 metres, can long jump as well, and has run a decent 400 metres, but that looked a great run for Blacksmith. She'll be super, super happy to break the 13-second barrier here tonight.
Lovell's off to the World Championships in Kobe in Japan in May, where she's competing in the 200. She's got the Paralympic qualifier in that, but she's looking for a 100 qualifier. So season's best for Blacksmith, 12.92. Sharp was in second, 14.22, and Indiana Cooper's run a personal best of 14.36. So that's a good run from Indiana in the T38 category.
Well, Marley's PB, 14.71, fantastic run by the 19-year-old silver medalist at the 2023 World Para Championships, took up athletics at the age of 12, coached by Katie Edwards and the Melinda Gainsford-Taylor combination. And she said that athletics has changed her life. She was the 2023 Amy Winter Award winner for the Female Para-Athlete of the Year. So quality athlete having a great season.
So Blacksmith, the winner of the Para 100. Of course, we are here courtesy of Puma, one of Athletics Australia's major sponsors, and you can prepare to experience running the way it should feel with the Puma Velocity Nitro 3. It's the perfect training partner, fueled by nitro, providing enhanced cushioning for everyday runners. The upgraded Velocity Nitro 3 has 2 millimetres more nitro foam, creating the perfect training partner for each and every run type. And of course, Puma outfit the Australian team. They do look good out on the track. Eleanor Patterson up against the back fence here. Of course, had that time away from the sport where she just lost the love of it and returned. And we're thankful for it. And up, and the bar comes down.
It's still so early season for these athletes who are peaking for global championships. Eleanor's in a bit different position to some of the other athletes that are going to those Chemist Warehouse Olympic trials in Adelaide in April. She knows that she's at her best. She'll be definitely on that team. So she's preparing and peaking for the middle of the year for those Olympics. But
what about her record? World champ in 2022, World Indoor silver in 22. Of course, that Commonwealth Games gold medal back in 2014. World champ silver medal, 2023. That's a collection of titles.
And I love how she got into the sport. She went to Little Athletics with a friend and just fell in love with the sport. So very, very thankful to Eleanor's friend in Leongatha that got her down to Little Athletics.
And chose the field events too. So no real surprise there, because that's where the action is, as we know. Men's Ambulant 100, so Jaden Page will be the man to watch here. No Chad Peris. And Jaden ran in the B100 earlier, so he'll be the fastest man. Men's Ambulant 100 metres, we can introduce our field from the inside from New South Wales. It's Cooper Rob Jackson. In lane 2 from New South Wales, Blake Carr. In lane 4, Commonwealth Games silver medalist from the ACT, Jaden Page. In lane 5 from New South Wales, Tokyo. In fact, sorry, in lane 5, I've missed you out, James. My apologies. From New South Wales in lane 5, James Tirado. In lane 6 from the ACT, Tokyo Paralympian Ari Giacini. In lane 7 from New South Wales, Hussein Choker. And in lane 8 from New South Wales, Philip Nwusu. Ambulant men's 100. So again, the classifications here, we've got Tirado, who's visually impaired, T13. We've got Jaden Page, T47, who's got an upper limb deficiency. We've got the T20 athlete in Blake Carr, intellectual disability, and on the outside, Philip Nwosu, who's the T64, so lower leg. So there's a range. Normally at the Paralympics and World Championships, Tamsin, they compete in their own category. Yeah. So the lower leg amputees are against each other, and the upper arm are in their own category, and the cerebral palsy in the other category. But here we race together and then work it out based on percentage of the world record. Page will be the one to watch. He goes in lane 4. There he is. So away they go in the men's Ambulant 100. Jaden Page has got a good start on his outside. Tirado's running well, but Jaden Page is up and about. Have a look at him. Fast legs like pistons. Hits the line. That's swift. 11.05 ahead of Tirado. And then on the outside, Giacini, Choker and Nwusu ran a good race as well, but Jaden Page was the main man there, and that was a swift time.
Well, he's been running well this season, hasn't he, Jaden Page, the 19-year-old who's coached by Seb Kuzminski in the ACT. He ran earlier this evening in the B race with the able-bodied athletes and did very, very well. Great experience, because you can see there, he's just so fast. Gets out well, has that drive phase, head down through that drive phase, looks up, nice off the ground. Look at the heel strike, the foot strike off the ground. Nice knee lift, using arms well, forward lean dip, fantastic run. James Tirado also had a great race. You know, all these athletes during COVID also had some tough times, but James Tirado said that during COVID he found apps helped make sense of normality and Blake Carr, the athlete from Newcastle who won that bronze at the Virtus Global Games in the 110 hurdles final. Good to see him out there. He actually said that he wants to be official at the Brisbane 2024. An official.
And then go and compete in the Paralympics as well.
Yep, official at the Brisbane 2032 Olympics.
That'll be a good double. So just confirming those results, as we saw Talia Clark in the long jump, Jaden Page, the winner, 11.06, ahead of Tirado, 11.75, a personal best, and Giacini a PB. In fact, Nwusu, so 12.25 Giacini, Nwusu 12.33 a PB, Choker a PB, 12.69. Blake Carr a personal best, 13.07, and Cooper Rob Jackson. The times in their entry are all correct, 13.28, a personal best. So some good running there.
And good signs for the 100-metre races that are coming up as well. It's always nice to see some personal best done in the race before you. You think, okay, the conditions are good, they're on, we're ready to go.
Back to the long jump, and this is Amelia Search. Let me give you an update here. We're into round number 4, and Samantha Dale leading 6.31. Jess Hull busy in the fan zone. She's been there for some time. In fact, her race was about 20 minutes ago, so she's doing good work. Tamisha Clark we saw jump 6.09, that's her best so far, and Search, that jump 6.11. Wind virtually still at the moment. Bushkull in third, Liz Heading in second, Samantha Dale. So here's Brooke Bushkull. Hasn't been an easy season for Brooke. Such an incredible record. Twice 7th at the Olympic Games. 2-time Commonwealth Games silver medalist, 3 World Championship finals. And she's searching for her best work. She heads towards the trials. She got the win in Melbourne. It was a fight, but she jumped 6.51 to get the win there, but she's lowered the colours a couple of times. She's currently in 3rd spot, so she'll need an improvement. We'll give you the distance there as we look to the 2 sprint races for men and women, and then we're going to finish off with the men's 3,000, the final event of the night. So there's the start list. Not sure Ella Connolly's there. In fact, she's got a DNS next to her name. She's already run the relay. Women's 100 metres. Here's the start list. The meet record, of course, Zoe Hobbs, tremendous 10.97 from last year. Track record held by Di Holden at Interclub here in 1980, 11.39. Kerry Johnson ran 11.10, wind assisted in the Commonwealth Games trials. Here is your field. On the inside, representing Japan, Yuna Miura. In lane 3, Commonwealth Games semi-final and 2019 national champion from Queensland, Nara Nang. In lane 4, World University Games 200 metre finalist from Queensland, Christy Edwards. In lane 5, Commonwealth Games relay bronze medalist from Victoria, Mia Gross. In lane 6, part of that Australian record relay team from earlier this evening from Victoria, Ebony Lane. In lane 7, also part of that relay team, a recent winner in New Zealand from Queensland, Bree Masters. Ella Connolly is a scratching from lane 8, and on the outside from New South Wales, the World University Games finalist and New South Wales champion from last week, Sam Geddes. Women's 100 metres. Well, this will be interesting, Tamsin. I think Edwards, tremendous. Queensland Championships 11.28. We know Lane's in good form. We know Bree Masters has found some winning form. We know that Gross is a fierce competitor, and can't discount Nara Nang. Am I missing any?
No, this is brilliant. The whole field you've pretty much mentioned, and that's pretty much what we're looking at because they are quality athletes all running very, very well.
Here we go, women's 100. Pretty even start. Edwards got a good one in the middle. Nara Nang on her left-hand side. Gross a little slow away. Ebony Lane running really quickly, and Bree Masters has got to finish quickly, and she has, I think. Ooh. Boy, across the track. Nara Nang on the inside. Ebony Lane and Bree Masters. Tamsin's waving her fingers at Nara Nang. Where before the line, Bree Masters was flying home. 11.29 is the time.
Brilliant race. I thought Masters finished really strong there. Ebony Lane got a wonderful, wonderful start. That's why she starts off that national record holding 4x100 metre squad. But Masters down the back straight of that relay just looked brilliant. You could tell she was running beautifully. And then I think that back end, she stayed relaxed when she saw Ebony get that great start. It's fantastic to see Na Nang Sin smile on her face there, because she knows that she's had another step towards being back in that 11:20 shape that she had before she was injured. Look at these times. It's Masters 11:29 for the win. Second place, Ebony Lane 11:30, and then 11:31. Na Nang. Look at the back end of Bree Masters' race. She's so strong, isn't she, off the ground? And she just knows how to throw that chest across the tape. Wonderful, wonderful race by all those athletes. And Mia Gross will be happy with that, as will Edwards.
Great race. Everywhere you looked, Edwards got a good start. Gross didn't get away well. She finished super. Ebony Lane looked the winner, and then all of a sudden, both Masters and Anang flashing at the line. So it's the fastest time in the season this year for Bree Masters, 11:29. Ebony Lane, 11:30. Nara Anang, 31. Mia Gross, PB, 11:38.
Yeah.
Nathan, that was a great run. Great win for Bree Masters.
I knew that was there.
Away you go. Whenever you're ready.
Here with
There
Bree
we go.
Masters, confirmed the winner of the women's 100 metres. She's got second, she's got thirds here in home soil. She did get a win in New Zealand, but how does it feel to break the drought, get back into the 11.2s?
Oh, so good. I've been so patient this season. You know, my coach and I knew that this season was going to be a long one again, so just tried to be really, really patient and peak at the right time. So I'm really stoked with that result ahead of Nationals.
Yeah, very close to Nationals. Obviously the relay as well, big chances there. Talk us through the recovery process between the two.
Oh, look, there was not much time. I'm pretty sure I was still puffing on the start line, but, you know, maybe that relay set me up for that race then, so, yeah.
You're in great form towards Nationals as well. It's going to be a great race. Looking forward to it. The women's 100 metre champion, ladies and gentlemen, Bree Masters. She's back on top of the podium here on Australian soil. Well done.
Thank you.
Was a good win, no doubt about that. It was a great race. There was a lot to like about so much of it, and we've seen some competitive results. Tell you what, Tams, in the national championships, and they're not. They're sort of, yes, they're Olympic trials and they're not Olympic trials, but if you run and you win, then you put yourself in a strong position. But for relays, you know, it's, there's a lot going on.
And it's a national championship.
Yep.
It's nice to get your name in the record books, right? So be the fastest person in the country.
So there is that high jump result. So Eleanor Patterson getting the win. Great to see her back. Erin Shaw in second with 184, and then Stolberg tied on a count back with Lewis and Rowe. Some youngsters there snapping at the heels, and of course we'll see Nicola Oleschlager's back for the Chemist Warehouse Australian Championships in Adelaide, 11th to the 14th of April. Two more events on the program. What has been an entertaining night of field and track, and it's the men's 100 metres, and we see Rowan Browning. We didn't see him in the relay, but we will see him here. Ayus was in that relay. Hartman, good to see him back, the big man. Jake Doran, first race of the season for the former national champion. Despard and Drew Rodriguez Chico, stall gift winners, and Kamara from Sierra Leone, who was second in Canberra, Tamsin. So again, deep field. It's a
really great field, and you've got an Olympic silver medalist in there with Yamagata, which the national record holder from Japan will keep Rowan Browning honest. So great field. It's going to be interesting to see how Rowan's going. I loved his 100-200 double at the Maury plant meet.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is your start list for the men's 100 metres. Track record here, 10 flat windy by Jet Jackson. Remember him, and Paul Henderson at 10.28 from 1993. On the inside, from New South Wales World University Games 100 and 200 semi-finalists from Sydney University, Chris Ayus. In lane 2, 5-time Australian 200 metre champion from Queensland, Alex Hartman. In lane 3, he's already got wins in Christchurch and Auckland, the 10-12 man from Japan, Taju Hongo. In lane 4, Olympic semi-finalist from New South Wales, please welcome Rowan Browning. In lane 5, the 2022 Australian champion over 100 metres from Queensland, Jake Doran. In lane 6, Olympic relay silver medalist, personal best of 9.95 seconds, Ryota Yamagata of Japan. In lane 7, Commonwealth Games relay representative and 2018 stall gift winner from Tasmania, Jacob Despard. In lane 8, the 2019 stall gift winner from Victoria, Dhruv Rodriguez Chico. And in lane 9, Rio Olympian from Sierra Leone, Ishmael Kamara. 9 fast men ready to burst from the blocks in the men's 100. So what are we thinking here, Tamsin? Browning, haven't seen him since Melbourne as a party who run in Canberra, not here, but Kamara, who finished second, is. I think there's a little bit of a concern about the blocks, just Hongo. We saw it in the B race where the boys put so much power through their blocks that can you put another set behind them or someone standing on them? But he seems to be okay now. He was impressive in Christchurch and Auckland. Big contingent of Japanese athletes have been on both sides of the Tasman. Doran, haven't seen him this season. Yamagata has been there and thereabouts. Despard, of course, impressive in that 10.15. Season's best. Won in Adelaide. Have you got a selection?
Well, I think it's too hard to look past Rowan Browning after he ran that 200 metres at Murray Plant Meet. He looked fantastic. He's gone back into a little bit of training, and I think hopefully we'll see an advancement on his 100-metre form tonight.
There he is in the middle. Men's 100. Away they go. Pretty even start, wasn't it? Browning's got away pretty well, so he's leading them. Ayus on the inside. Hongo starting to challenge Ayus, but Browning bursts away, and he gets the win. On the outside, Despard was finishing pretty quickly, but Rowan Browning is business, and his business is all about winning, and he's done it once again.
You need him in the relay. That was a great run. That was a fantastic run. Great start out of the blocks by Rowan. What I loved the most was he looks like he's got another gear to give. He looks so relaxed down the middle of that track. And then at the end, he still looked like he hadn't given 100% in that race. He looks like he's got more to give. He looks super happy with that fist pump after the race because I think he was really disappointed with the time at the Murray Plant Meet. And sometimes that just kicks your confidence a little bit. So he'll be happy with the way that he won that race.
I know there's a lot to unpack in 10.29 seconds, but it was a fast start. It was a good middle. I thought he might just be in a bit of trouble here, but then all of a sudden he maintained, he got relaxed.
Yeah.
And he maintained the speed. So I think if you were looking at his speed map, he didn't really trail off that much.
No, and it was the relaxation through his shoulders that I loved the most, and his face. He just didn't look like he would have felt those athletes coming back at that 70-metre mark, but he stayed so relaxed, and that's the key to his success of making that final in Paris, I think. And so I think that's a massive tick.
So 10.29, the winning time for Rowan Browning. Despard was in second, 10.38, and Ishmael Kamara from Sierra Leone, 10.44, the top three in the men's 100. And Rowan Browning is with Brainy trackside.
Well, we got here Rowan Browning, one of the most popular people here in Australian athletics. Mate, there was a photo that went up in 2014, Tarby put up. Do you remember that day, back in the Trinity days, 10 years ago?
I do. I remember that well. That was the last time I ran here, was 10 years ago. It's insane to think that was when I was 16 and I went through a 4-week period where I think I PB'd every week. I wish I could keep doing that.
Sub 10 seconds, mate. Obviously, that's the elusive barrier. About consistency at this point in the season. Had a sneaky run last weekend at State Opens, and you've been doing a few more 200s this season as well.
Yeah, it's been a different challenge. I've liked having the dual challenges to sort of juggle. I have a lot to figure out in that event. It's a whole different skill set. Yeah. But I'm working on it. It's fun, and it's just so humbling getting throttled around a bend or dying in the back end. It makes me appreciate the 100 a lot more.
Yeah. Very good, ladies and gentlemen. Who loves Rowan Browning? Put your hands up if you love Rowan Browning. There we go. ES Marks Athletic Field, loving it. Great job. Congratulations, mate. Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Well, our hands are up because we do love him, and that was an impressive run. Love the way he went about that. Wind 0.0, cooling down a little bit as the sun sets here in Sydney. So 10.29, Despard, well, he's sort of secured his position as the second fastest man in Australia, hasn't he? And Kamara in third place. Ayus got a fast start, but he's good around the bend in that relay. and over 200, but wasn't able to maintain that speed. And Rowan's going to be there for a while because there is a strong contingent of fans. One event to go here. What's been a entertaining and eventful night. We knew that there was going to be some great racing, Tamsin. Of course, the track records, Liz Clay, Abby Caldwell, Bree Masters, Australian records in the 4x1 Open and under 20, the highlights so far, and we've still got the men's 3,000 to come.
Well, super interesting if you're looking at Rowan Browning there, signing autographs for his fans. You mentioned that Jacob Despard, well, he ran in the B relay as well. They've done a lot of data, obviously, with changing battens and working it out, but I think the men's 4x100 has a little bit to think about because the athletes haven't really cemented their spots into that team. Caleb Law ran the B 100 metres and looked fantastic, and he runs so well when he's up and running, if you take those blocks start out, and he looked really good before that baton dropped, and we didn't have Azzopardi running in this race.
The interesting thing with the, as we look, go back to the long jump, the interesting thing with the relay, of course, you need a fast starter. That's, you've got to be a bullet out of the blocks. The back straight's the longest leg, and Despard's very good. Very good over 120.
Yep.
You don't need to be a good 200-metre runner. It's, you know, you can, it stretches out to about 120. Third leg's got to be a bullet around the bend. You've got to be able to move at absolute fierce pace around the bend, and then the final runner has got to be calm. You've got to be fast and calm.
Fast and
because
calm.
not everyone's
I like that.
not everyone's Usain Bolt, where you can have a bit of a dodgy change. You've got to wait for the stick.
And that relay, as we see Cam Myers and Jude Thomas coming out for that men's 3,000 metre national championships that's on the track next. That 4x100 metre men's team has had a lot of change in it. You know, Jack Hale ran a fantastic third leg for so long. And he's not racing at the moment.
Great bend runner.
Yeah,
perfect for the relay.
So there's kind of been a lot of change in that relay, a lot of strong juniors coming through. They just haven't found their quartet yet, but I definitely do think that Rowan Browning added into that last leg will make it a lot stronger.
So we're in the final round of the long jump. Tamisha Clark, 6:09 best so far. She's in 5th spot. We saw Charlotte Banks just before her, 5:89 coming in round 3. Amelia Search is in 4th, and then Bushkul, we saw her jump before, was 6:21. So she's had a string of jumps in that high, 6:17, 6:27, 6:21, heading 6:28, and then Dale at 6:31. Final event on the track is the men's 3,000 Australian Championships, and again another interesting race here because we've got the winner of the last 2 titles in Jude Thomas, hip number 7. We've got Connor Whiteley, the tall New South Wales Sydney University runner who was impressive over 1,500 metres in Canberra. We've got Callum Davies, who won the 1,500 and 5,000 national title, but we've got Cameron Myers, who has done that and a little bit more and has been so impressive. Of course, the Australian record holder over 1,500 the mile and the 3,000. So there's a good field here, 17 athletes. The steeplechasers at the bottom of the list, Buckingham and Clark, and Strinsos, who's off to the World Cross Country Championships after a good run in the trial in Canberra.
Well, there's certainly a lot of talent in this field. It's going to be interesting to see the tactics that are employed by these athletes out there today. Matt Ramsden has looked good in his races that we've seen him at Satterpeck and Maury Plant. He is a quality athlete in terms of times in this field. It's great to see Dave McNeil, the 37-year-old, back out competing. He's been to 3 Olympics, if you can believe. Quality athlete who often is the understated achiever. You know, he's not mentioned a lot, but he is brilliant, and it's great to see him back out there.
Final event on the track, ladies and gentlemen, is the men's 3,000 metre championship of Australia. Track record here, Andy Lloyd, 7:46.19 from 1992. Big field, 17 starters. We're going to introduce some of the leading contenders. Hip number 3, the Australian under-20 record holder at the 1,500 metres and the mile and the 3,000 metres from the ACT, Cameron Myers. Hip number 4 is the Australian 1,500 and 5,000 metre champion from Queensland, Callum Davies. Hip number 5, 3-time World Championship representative from Western Australia, Matt Ramsden. Hip number 6 is the Rio Olympic 5,000 metre representative from Victoria, Sam McEntee. Hip number 7, 2-time winner here, won the 22 and the 23 title from Queensland, Jude Thomas. In position 8, he won the 1,500 metres in Canberra from New South Wales, Connor Whiteley. And in hip number 9, 3-time Olympic representative from Victoria, Dave McNeil. Big start list, men's 3,000 metre championship of Australia. Interesting, Connor Whiteley's obviously done a good job of his running because he's ditched the Sydney University and he's in the Nike colours, so he's picked himself up an arrangement on the way. There he is in number 8. Always easy to spot in the field because he's in the all-white colours of the Sydney University club. Just about ready. So underway in the men's 3,000. What's going to unfold here? Pacemaker is Seth Murray, who's got to the front already. Cameron Myers, who's a fierce racer, Tamsin, and he always likes to be prominent. We saw that tremendous race at Bankstown where he took it up to Jake Whiteman. Didn't worry about the pace at all on that night. He loves being up near the front, and he's assumed a prominent position here already.
He has, and he's sitting right on the pacer's shoulder. He looks super relaxed. He's 17 years of age, and he's full of confidence. He has no fear, and that's the way that he's running now. And you can see in that third position you have Zach Fascioni, the 24-year-old who was 11th in that 5,000 at the Maury Plant meet with 13:45, which is a great time. NCAA athlete over there studying at University, Wake Forest Uni, and he ran a 10-kilometre road race at the Melbourne Marathon and finished second. So he's good on the cross-country track, and he's sitting there in third. And Jude Thomas is in fourth, the defending champion.
Yeah, just behind him. So it's the pacemaker Murray, followed by Myers, then Fascioni, Thomas, and Ramsden and Whiteley are at the back. They're in the same uniform. They're second and third last at the moment. Not time to panic, but if there's an injection at the front, I know you want to be a little closer to where the action is. If you don't cover it, then you've got to move quickly, and they are starting to move forward a little bit now with Callum Davies is behind them as well as they go through. So they've just gone through the start-finish line, and they've got 6 laps to go.
Well, it's interesting to see Callum Davies back there. I think he's an unassuming hero, that athlete. He's been there or thereabouts for a few years, and his national championships last year was incredible with that 5,000, 1,500 double. He was 5th in Bankstown in the 1,500 metres with 3:35 personal best. So he's been in great shape, the 24-year-old from Queensland as well. So, you know, he is sitting there at the back with his headband on, but I'm sure he will move through the field.
Murray just checks the watch to see that he's on the allocated time. Myers behind him, Fascioni, then Thomas. Josh Phillips from New South Wales, Dale McNeil is on his heels, and then behind them is Ramsden. Whiteley on the outside as well there's Callum Davies, the headband and the glasses.
And you can see Matt Ramsden working up through the field now. He's just settled into that early rhythm, and he's got the number 5 on his side hip, and he's worked up into 5th position on Jude Thomas's shoulder and looking nice and comfortable sitting in that position just in front of the Tasmanian James Hansen, the newly married James Hansen, 30 years of age. He's a tough, gutsy runner.
He ran well in Canberra too, Hansen, so he can't be discounted here. So he's with hip number 14, third in the Australian title last year. So from the front, it's the pacemaker who's just about done, leaves Myers in front, Fascioni, then the 2-time winner, last 2 titles, Thomas. Ramsden loping along, that's his style. Just behind them, Phillips, McNeil. There's McNeil in the striped red and black. Essendon playing across the road. He's at the wrong venue at the moment. And then Whiteley just behind them.
Well, these athletes are using this event, obviously, for different sort of training leading into those Chemist Warehouse Olympic trials, because Cam Myers will drop back down to that 1,500 metres, just topping up some of that fitness. You mentioned Have-To, who's just tucked in there at the back of the pack in the middle, and he has won that cross-country championship, so he's off to the World Cross-Country Championship. You see the pace slow down. You saw a lot of hands on the back there. It's really just slowed down since the pacemakers jumped out, and that makes it a little bit dangerous if you're not in a good position. And that pack there at the back has 2 wide, 3 wide, and it got a little bit dangerous there, but they've spread it out now safely.
And Whiteley's moved up as well, so he's in 4th place with Ramsden on his outside. So Hansen just about to move past them. So it's Myers who leads, followed by Fascioni, who's been prominent throughout. Then Thomas, good defence of his titles to win 2 in a row. exceptional. To win 3 in a row against some quality opposition would be some achievement indeed. Davies has got some problems at the moment in the blue vest, about 4 back, but on the rail, and a lot of runners on his outside. Hansen is one of them on the outside. So, well, what can Myers do? Controlling this race, he's going to have 3 laps to go when they come down to the start-finish line.
Well, he looks so super smooth and comfortable. He's looking over his right shoulder to see if anyone's going to come up and help him take that pace, but it's so congested. He's probably in the best position in the field because he can just run nice and relaxed. He doesn't have to check his stride lengths. We've got 2 Olympians at the back of the pack too, with Ben Buckingham, the steeplechaser, and Sam McEntee, who's been at the Olympics for the 5,000. So there's quality throughout this field.
Matt Clark in there as well, a steeplechaser who's been to the games. So there's a lot of
17.
quality at the back. And they are bunching up. There's plenty of chances. Davies is still just busily looking for a way to get out. And now Buckingham down the outside in the bun has moved up vigorously.
Well, it's dangerous. It's really dangerous for these athletes to allow Cam Myers to control it like this because we know he has such incredible 1,500 metre tempo. So for him to slow it down here allows him to inject his speed in late in the race. So at some point, these athletes who are coming from the 5,000 fitness, like a Dave McNeil, are going to have to go for it a little bit earlier than they may have wanted to.
So that's McNeil on the outside, the 3-time Olympian. Those ageing legs at 37 years of age. I hope he's not listening to our commentary as they come down with 2 laps to go. So it's Myers and Ramsden quality. Jude Thomas on the inside. Fascioni. In fact, Thomas has been shuffled back a bit, isn't he? Because Thomas, what's he in 4th or 5th now? Fascioni, they're banked up, aren't they? Strinsos on the outside is starting to move into the picture as well.
Well, Jude Thomas just has to stay relaxed. The 22-year-old, the twice winner of this race. He went to Europe last year and he struggled a little bit with injuries and homesickness, but he came back and he's now a stronger athlete mentally for that experience. But you always have to stay relaxed in this position because you know it's going to open up. The worst thing you can do is panic when you're stuck on the rail. Just take that gap as soon as it comes, and you can see have to. And Callum Davies have got running really wide, but they've got that exit route to be able to make that move and chase that move when it comes.
Hansen wide as well, and Myers has dropped back to 4th spot now. So how is he travelling? Fascioni it is that takes up the running with 500 to go ahead of Ramsden. Don't think Myers is done just yet. Strinsos is there. The 1,500, 5,000 champion Davies, Hansen. They're starting to stretch across the track and bank up as they come down with 1 lap to go. They're racing for the 3,000 metre championship of Australia. And at the bell, there's about 6, and there's about 4 or 5 gone down. So Thomas Strinsos has gone down. So there's carnage on the track, and the defending champion has hit the surface as we go back to the leaders. It's Davies who leads from Fascioni and Myers.
Oh, he's hurt himself too, but back to the race, we can see that it's allowed for Callum Davies to get to the front. And it's really opened up that race now. Cameron Myers has got out of that bad position he was in, and now it's all about these athletes. Matt Ramsden is going backwards here, not having a great race at all.
Ed Tripper's not done with yet, but Cam Myers stylishly moves up to the front, goes past Davies, Trippus, and then Fascioni back to Hansen. It's Myers in front. What has Callum Davies got? Can he raise his level here? I don't think so. Well, it's been an interesting race, but it's been another procession for Cam Myers. He takes the win. He gets his first senior national title ahead of Davies in a race full of drama, a little bit of carnage. He looked like he was in a bit of trouble, but he managed to do what he has done so often, and that's stroll effortlessly to the front and get the win.
Well, that was a horrific fall. I think it was Jude Thomas was really impacted. He's on the infield. He looks like he might have copped a spike to his chest, which is not good at all. That is not how we wanted that race to pan out. But when that pacemaker jumped out and Myers really slowed the pace, and then the lead swapped, nobody was willing to inject pace into it to keep it a safe race. That was really rough, and it affected quite a few athletes. I think have to, and maybe Maddie Clark fell as well in that race. But Cam Myers was able to get out then at that point and stay relaxed. He's so super calm for a 17-year-old, isn't he?
Personal best too, 7:46.38. Davies has run a PB 7:47.33, and Trippus, who didn't see him much at all during the race, but all of a sudden appeared down the back straight with 250 metres to go. He's got a PB 7:48.80. Just wondering if we can see the crash, the fall at the bell. We'll see if we can get that for you, because it was a nasty one, wasn't it? Here it is.
Here it is. Okay, so who is it? Because I saw you can see down goes Jude Thomas. He's run into the back of Cam Myers. Cam Myers is affected, and then you can see that Haftu's really, I think Haftu spiked him. Something really bad's happened. Is that Maddie Clark as well on the ground?
Well, Clark's got up.
Yep, but Clark got up, but he was severely impacted as well. Haftu is okay, but it really hurt poor Jude Thomas. Those spikes are not nice, and he rolled in the middle of a pack and he had them land on him. So he's up and walking now. I think it's just that nasty spike gash, but hopefully he's all right.
Well, again, there he is, and he's got some ice on the shin and the stomach as well. So that's a nasty fall for Jude Thomas.
And you could tell he wanted to get out at that point too. He just got himself into a bad position on that rail and just said, you've got to try and stay nice and relaxed and find that gap. But everyone was there and there was a lap to go and there's quality athletes. It just wasn't coming. And then, wow, that was nasty.
Well, we've seen some great racing, Tamsin. I tell you, the depth in Australian athletics at the moment is impressive. We've got so many races where we don't know what the result's going to be. And have a look at this list. Have a look at this list, ladies and gentlemen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 PBs. Cam Myers gets the national title, his first as a senior. Callum Davies, 7:47 a PB, all the way down. McEntee's run a season's best. That's impressive, isn't it? Trippus there as well. Season's best all the way down, and then Whiteley and Strinsos. Of course, they don't run the 3,000 that often.
No.
You're checking those times? You got a question mark on that?
No, I'm just impressed by the amount of PBs in the race. I was going to count them because it's an impressive race, and I'm trying to work out how there were so many PBs because they did slow those middle laps down, didn't they? As you see, Collis Birmingham on the track, who now coaches Jude Thomas, having a word with him about how you can avoid those mishaps again, but he was in position to pounce for trying to get his third title, but just hopefully he's all right. It's nice to see him up now and walking, because if you could see him off the side of the track when that last lap was happening, he looked like he was in a world of hurt. So
yeah, he didn't move much, did he, when he first went down? But there's also the shock of that as well. So I think we're ready to go down to Nathan, who's with our winner, Cam Myers. An impressive run, and the 17-year-old's got a national senior title.
Yeah, and I think it might also be an Australian under-20 record as well. He just keeps breaking records left, right and centre. We all remember that Bankstown run not long ago. Mate, that was a race. It was chopping and changing. There was a couple of falls and mishaps, but you went to the front early and took control in the middle part. How'd you feel throughout that one?
Well, honestly, pretty garbage. I've literally thought the worst spot to be was behind the pacer, and that's where I found myself for the majority of the race. So I was thinking, as soon as Rambo went past me, that I was pretty done. But I was lucky enough to sort of tuck right back in on the rail for the last 600 metres. So that maybe gave me a bit of a second wind. So yeah, pretty happy with that.
Mate, amazing how you've been able to back up, and the 3,000 metres rarely run distance. It's such a hard race to pace, and tactically really difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's a bit unfamiliar for me. Like, I've done a couple 3K races in my time. I think the last one I did was this time last year. So yeah, it's good confidence to improve on what I did last year, and it's just more forward momentum.
Well, mate, he's very humble. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together. Cam Myers, I think you're one of the most highly sought after people here. You've got a bunch of fans over there who are staying around for you as well. We know you're signing autographs, so I think we're about 45 minutes at Bankstown, so I think you're in for another long night, mate. Congratulations, Australian champion. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Well done, Nathan, and you are right that Jude Thomas, a little bit of insult into injury. He's lost his Australian under-20 record. It was 7:52.11, and Cameron Myers 7:46.38. So there's the women's long jump results. Sam Dale managed to hang on in that event to get another win. Liz Heading and Brooke Bushkull, the top three, so they'll go into the national championships, and that event is another one that is wide open, with Dale winning ahead of Heading and Bushkull. So Tamsin, that's well, talk about some highlights of the evening tonight. The women's 4x1 national record, Australian Open and under 20 of Ebony Lane. Bree Masters, Ella Connolly and Tori Lewis was most impressive. Liz Clay, Abby Caldwell, Bree Masters setting track records. A lot of highlights.
A lot of highlights. It was great to see Eleanor Patterson back out there competing. We know that she'll be certainly going very well at the middle of the year when it counts. What a great 100 hurdles race by Jenica and Clay. There's that relay that you just mentioned. the 4 quartet, and the other 4 in that B team were also fabulous as well. Big smiles from them. And this 400-metre race was just brilliant. You called it.
Well, this man next Monday, Easter Monday, live on the screens of 7 from Central Park in Stawell. Tamsin, you and I will be there with Richo, and we're looking forward to that. Eleanor Patterson back in action tonight was impressive. Jess Hull in the women's 3,000. So a lot to look forward to as we head towards our national championships. Jaden Page. So a lot of highlights. Tamsin, good note to finish on. Jess Hull and our women's 100-metre champion tonight, Bree Masters. See you at Central Park next Monday. Then it's the Chemist Warehouse Australian Championships. We'll see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes the 2024 Chemist Warehouse Sydney Track Classic. Thank you to all of you here tonight. I think we had about 3,000 people here, and it was great to see athletics at its absolute best. Don't forget the national championships aren't too far away in Adelaide, so book your tickets if you haven't already. Head to athletics.com.au. So thank you for your attendance. It's been another fantastic night, and safe travels home.